3, 2, 1. It's a liver shot. Let's do it, man. Welcome back.
We are back. It is episode 5. It is March 26th. In the last couple of weeks, there's been quite a bit of news come out of MMA, so we're going to run through some of that news really quick. It was announced that Rose Namajunas and Jessica Andrade are going to headline the UFC 237 May 11th event.
It's official. I'm glad it's there. That's going to be interesting because, you know, I'm a huge fan of Rose. I've watched her for a while, but Jessica is a different animal. So is that power, is that just overall different game plan going to be something that really tests Rose? Because Gaethje was a hell of a test, and she stopped her twice. Once definitively, others either way. Does Andrade bring something crazy, or just does Rose go a technical fight again and wins just by points?
Yeah, I don't know. I think as far as it being a main event, I was hoping they were going to pull something else out to be the main event.
In Brazil, especially.
Yeah, I'm excited about the fight. It should be a good fight, but I was hoping for another main event on it. It is going to be a decent card. You got Aldo coming back to Brazil. You got Silva coming back to Brazil. I think Thiago Alves is going to fight.
I mean, a lot of Brazilians, and also this for a belt, so at least it's got something big behind it.
Yeah, so I actually think that Andrade might have enough to be the new champion.
I'm scared for it, but yeah.
But I think it's. We'll get into it later, but I think it's going to be one of the weaker cards or one of the weaker pay-per-views of the year, and I don't think the UFC cares. Also, Conor McGregor was in the news quite a bit this last couple of weeks. He was arrested in Miami, then he retired, and now there's news that he's under investigation for a sexual assault.
Just piling it on.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Happy New Year, man. That's a really bad start. But, I mean, the phone thing, I'm sure that could happen to anybody. Smashing a phone at 4 a.m. in the morning, you're probably a little intoxicated. Probably wasn't the time for some guy to, like, just bum rush him for a photo. But McGregor cannot do anything out of line because after everything he's done between the bus accident, the stuff with Aldo, just everything that he's been getting into. And then, now the sexual allegations.
How serious do you think his retirement is?
I think it's as serious as all of these bad outcomes. I think if he gets some jail time, money comes out, that's draining consistently, because these might be long court dates. That might distinguish, can I retire? Because Dana keeps saying that his whiskey business is taking off unbelievable. And last time I checked, the Euro over there said it's not doing that well.
I don't know. I hear it's doing well. I hear he's making good money. Okay, but are you going to keep up with
$150 million on whiskey the rest of your life? That's a big risk. To make that much?
I'd imagine he's making more in whiskey than he is in fighting.
Per fight,
Floyd Mayweather, that fight doesn't count. But as much as he's getting paid to fight in the UFC, I think that he's making that much more than that doing whiskey.
Larger amounts with the bigger long-term stuff.
Yeah,
I got you.
I think so.
But I honestly think if he retires, I'm not going to be mad at it. But also, too, if he does this again like he did 2 years ago, people are just going to get sick of it. They're like, hey, man, just get off Twitter. It's not even enjoyable to listen to you.
Yeah. Too much. But, who knows? I mean, it's going to be...
Anything could happen.
I'm hoping that people it just cleans everything up. People start waiting for the McGregor fight or calling out Conor McGregor.
A little bit.
Yeah, I just hope that it's not a distraction anymore and the division can move on and UFC can move on. And if I had to bet right now, I would say that I think he fights again. But I don't think it's going to be anytime soon.
It's just a big monkey on everybody's back that they want to get off.
He's doing well enough. Someone else outside of the ring or outside of the cage has had a little bit of issue recently is Tony Ferguson. Yeah, man. And he's got some issues in his personal life he has to take care of. Sounds like he's may have had a psychotic break or something.
Yeah.
Hopefully he gets well, but I don't see him returning anytime soon.
No, and Dana said he doesn't want him to, and he also says right now he's nowhere near where he needs to be in life to be able to start fighting again. Especially if, I don't know if it's true, but people are throwing a little CTE out there. That's not good because Tony apparently just flipped a switch, started acting different, started being really aggressive, really being even stranger than he already is.
Right. His wife has some pretty strange stories.
Yeah, and I think his wife said,
scary.
This guy's always been weird, but this is a little outside his box. So,
Yeah.
I mean, all for Tony. I hope he gets better because, man, that sounds bad. That's a hell of a fighter to go through something like that right now in his career.
I know. He's on like a 13-fight win streak or something crazy.
Well, especially with Conor right now. You got Conor in a situation, might be retiring. You got Khabib that's out to November. We talked about this before. But the thing is Tony's in a great position. Yeah, 11. He's in a great position right now to move and possibly take the belt. And now he's got personal stuff keeping him out.
Well, he's been next in line for 3 damn years, pretty much.
Once the strip happened of that interim, man, that changed everything. If they would have let him keep that interim, he would have already fought. He would have already fought Conor.
Yeah. So, hopefully we see him soon. I'm not sure. It looks like he's got some more important things to take care of. Last week it was announced the UFC had signed a new 7-year deal with ESPN, and pay-per-views are going to be purchasable only on ESPN Plus in America. And to me, this is strange. I guess I understand why they did it. Because they're getting flat fees from ESPN, so now they don't have to worry about having bust pay-per-views, and you can make a Rose Namajunas, Jessica Andrade the main event, and you're still getting paid the same amount, unless you have a monster one. So what's the incentive? It takes away power from the fighters, because now they're getting the same amount from ESPN every time. I think that that idea is good for them, but at the same time, they're going to have way less pay-per-view sales. I mean, it's strange if you're limiting how people can access your. You want people to consume your product, and you're putting all of these jumps or hoops to jump through on the way to accessing your product.
Yeah, and that's kind of I had that question to myself: is what is the impact, risk, and value of this? Okay, well, there's a huge impact because you're impacting other countries that can't even view it at all, so it hurts the fighters.
No, I think outside of America, you can buy it other ways.
But I mean, here's the deal. How is the overseas exposure still? We know England and everything else is crazy. Is this going to get bigger and bigger in other countries to keep opening gyms, keep opening more fights there? Is a 7-year deal with the way ESPN is marketing right now going to open those up?
I don't know if it more so than it otherwise would. Yeah, MMA is pretty universal, and I don't think it's dependent on UFC to be that way. I think right now the UFC is the biggest premier organization, but there's organizations all over the place, and I think that.
But the exposure right now for ESPN to what they're doing. When have you ever seen John Jones or any UFC fighter?
Are we talking worldwide or in America?
Just in America right now. Is them on ESPN in front view being shown there's fights. That's never happened before. Fox wasn't even able to market it that much to tell people.
I agree that ESPN is marketing the UFC much more than any of their other partners have.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's all I was saying is I think a 7-year deal is going to give them enough time to get it so sharp that this just grows all over just like a disease.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I just think that at first they're gonna take such a huge hit on pay-per-views. They're not gonna sell nearly as many. Even if it's just limiting it to one way, you can one site you go to buy them is one thing, but now you have to have a subscription to that site to buy them.
Yep.
Is kind of crazy.
That makes it tough.
Some injury news. Yeah. Derek Lewis is undergoing surgery today. He's got torn everything in his left knee.
And apparently he's had it for a while.
That's what he was saying. He thinks maybe 4 years.
2015, he was fighting on it. They said he had a partial torn. And then he's just been walking around with no knee.
Yeah,
I mean, ACL, MCL, and a meniscus, and he's got to do it in his knee, and he could be out. I mean, a guy that big, that could be the whole year.
Yeah,
trying to recoup something. Robbie Lawler took almost a year and a half, and he does not weigh 360 pounds or 260 pounds.
Yeah, Robbie Lawler moves around a lot more than Derek Lewis. Not Derek Lewis. I mean, he's been fighting without a knee, so he clearly doesn't need it as much for his game as other people do. But
still.
Yeah, I would. Before November, I would say is no way. It's going to be at least 6 months. Yeah, but it's good. I mean, he's been fighting a lot lately.
He's been very active.
Yeah, super active. So he needed a break anyways.
Yeah.
Especially coming off of that back-to-back losses now. Just step away for a little bit and get better.
Derek Lewis is interesting because I thought about him like, is this surgery going to help or hurt him? Because you just said that. He's been fighting on no knee and winning, and then now he's just had a couple losses to, some pretty big names.
Yeah, but I mean,
does this help his career or hurt it? And I think, honestly, if he comes back, recovers right, gets in shape, That's going to be the biggest thing is the layoff. Is Derek going to get out of shape on his layoff?
Yeah, I think that is the biggest thing.
I think that's a huge factor.
If he works to stay in shape or get into better shape, because he's not in that great of shape right now.
No, he said I couldn't go 5 rounds.
And then signed a 5-round fight the next day.
Well, it's against Daniel Cormier to get the money paid.
Yeah, he got he's got
like 6
He made a lot of money on that one punch on Volkov. A lot of money on that punch.
We wouldn't even be talking about him right now if that didn't happen.
All right, also, Jose Aldo was hospitalized this week. Yeah, he had like a stomach infection.
Yep.
He was in the hospital multiple days, but he has since...
Wasn't it an animal scratch or something weird?
I don't know what led to it.
He got some type of weird scratch somewhere and it got infected, and it was like, this is real bad, we got to get in the hospital.
Yeah, but anyways, he was released yesterday and everything's all good. He's still planning on fighting at 237.
Yep.
So we'll move on from that. On top of that, there were several fight announcements in the last 2 weeks with some big names.
Yep.
Speaking of women main events in the in pay-per-views.
Your favorite to kick off with.
Yeah. Valentina Shevchenko is fighting Jessica Ai in a championship fight. Yeah.
We talked about it a couple weeks. I love that matchup. 2 reasons. One, Valentino is kind of an up-and-comer, but is a veteran now because she's fought. She's obviously the champ. Jessica Ai has been around a long time. She's had a lot of wars, a lot of fun fights to watch. This is kind of almost experienced veterans that have been through the gauntlet, been around the time, earned their pack. Shevchenko is just... That flyweight division is just completely different on speed and power. So she has so much advantage there. But Jessica Ai has experience. She has size. And she has fought girls like this. This is a big fight for the flyweight because it can go back to showing they're kind of like the strawweights. There's a lot of trading of that belt, and it can be quick, which people like to see. So I'm excited actually for that chick fight, man. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good one. There's also Tatiana Suarez and Nina Ansaroff in the strawweight division.
Two up-and-comers.
That probably is a number 1 contender fight. I mean, the winner of that probably gets the next championship fight.
No matter what, if Valentino loses, they have to push somebody to belt because both of those girls have had a hell of a year already. Or last year, coming into this year. So I think that's going to be another fun division to watch move again, especially with... Rose doing Andrade now too. That could change a lot of names here in the next 6 months. So, and then to the third.
Yeah, and Kaylin Chukagan is fighting Joanne Calderwood in that pay-per-view as well, and Felice Herrig is fighting Yan Chaonan.
They're keeping them active, man.
So yeah, that is we got 4 female division fights.
With a ranked
all
opponent.
With ranked opponents. Yeah, it's gonna be a big event for the women's UFC divisions. And, so that'll be UFC 238. I think that one's in Chicago.
Yep. So, a lot of announcements, man. That's awesome.
We were trying to get Cowboy and Conor to fight before all of this went down. And then they decided they were going to go their separate ways.
Yeah.
And they landed on Cowboy and Iaquinta. These are both your boys. So what do you think?
And I love it. Al's hands are so powerful that it reminds me, and we're going to talk about it later, but with Masvidal. Cowboy went up against somebody that throws hands and throws them direct and a lot. That against Masvidal rocked him in his hometown of Colorado, Denver. I love Cowboy. Right now, he is looking at the best Cowboy I've ever seen. I worry about Al getting in one clean shot, and Cowboy's just not used to taking those bombs.
Iaquinta's tough, man. He's beat some good dudes.
I have to pull back and remember, not that Mike Perry's the same caliber as Iaquinta, but I think he made Mike Perry, who was a power puncher from God's belief you do not want to get touched by, he made him look like a child ripping his arm out of socket. So I think Al probably wins it in a decision or a knockout, but till Masvidal, we thought we had that one figured out. So I think that's going to be a hell of a fight. It's in Ottawa. That's a good arena. And Al's that gatekeeper, man, to that division. You can get through me, then you're good to go to anybody. But until that, it's a big level change, man, from, fighting somebody down 8 or 9, then you go to Iaquinta. That's big.
He's good. And he showed well against Kevin Lee on short notice. Or not against Kevin Lee, against Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
In short notice. I was very impressed with how he stepped in and that fight went the distance. He looked better than anyone I've seen fight Khabib.
Yeah.
Another big fight that was recently announced is Luke Rockhold moving up to light heavyweight to fight Jan Blachowicz. And so I heard they were looking to fight Corey Anderson. Corey Anderson wouldn't take the fight. He said there wasn't anything in it for him.
There's a lot that was in for him.
That's what I think. I think
you have Luke Rockhold coming in, which is not only a name, but also a
former champion.
Talker. Former champion that went, hey, I'll come up a division and still stomp you. Corey right now has not gotten any looks for fights. Volkan didn't want to fight him. Anthony Smith, Gustafsson, they're staying up at their top tier. They want those fights. I'm telling you right now, Jan Blachowicz could be right back into a name that we're saying every time we talk if he beats Luke Rockhold. Because one, it's a win. Two, it goes to show, look, I know how to keep real people in this division.
Yeah, I think the winner of this is set up well. I mean, whoever wins this is set up well. I mean, it's big. It's a big one for either one of them.
Rockhold is basically being Pettis right now for the light heavyweight division because no one plans for him to beat Jan unless it's a decision.
You think so? I think he's going to be the favorite in this fight.
I think he's not because
I wouldn't call him the Pettis. I'd call him the Thiago Santos or the Anthony Smith of that same division.
Okay, I like that. Here's the problem. Luke does things in his division where he's on ground and pound or he's his top game where he's smashing guys. He's won a lot like that. That is going to be fucking really hard in light heavyweight division when you got a guy like Jan Blachowicz that's up to the max on the weight and he's already bigger in that walking around anyway. I don't know if he can handle being... Now, he's got good
top game. I think he's going to be good.
His top game wrestling from Cormier is great. Are you going to be able to take the punch or a knee from a guy going in for a takedown on a guy that's fucking 25 to 30 more pounds than you normally? That's going to be the question. But besides that, totally agree with you.
I don't know. I think Rockhold can put on weight.
Well, he'll be more of a wrestler. But... what have we found out with the Bisping fights? Does he have a chin to keep going? Every time he gets clipped, he goes out because he's numb, and they get 6 more punches. Or you have fucking Yoel tee off and take his head through the cage.
Derek Branch damn near got him with one good hit.
Derek Branch's whole problem is he was like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, so he had no ground game. So right when Luke got him down...
brown belt, no jiu-jitsu.
I'm serious. I think that's what he thinks he's going to do to Jan, and Jan's going to go... hey, by the way, I'm really fucking pissed. I just lost to Santos, who came over and Anthony Smithed me. I'm not going to let you do the same thing, because then he's going to be really struggling in the division.
No, I think he's going to do well. I think that I'm excited to see him move up. We talked about this a few episodes ago because of how well Thiago Santos and Anthony Smith had done in the light heavyweight division. I thought that a lot more middleweights who are on the bigger end were going to start moving up. Pettis moved up. He's had success.
Yep.
Who else just moved up and had success? I know.
Well, you had Anthony Smith, you had Thiago Santos. You know, I obviously have Luke Rockhold. Pettis did his situation. Some flyweights.
Kevin Lee just moved up, so we'll see how he does. But yeah, I think
Darren Till's talking about going to middleweight.
I think he should.
He definitely should. That's for sure.
So I think that we're going to see a lot of this, and I think he's seen these middling middleweights do well at light heavyweight, and I don't think that the skill is as deep at light heavyweight as it is at middleweight right now.
No, not for speed.
And I think he'll do well.
Not for speed and accuracy. I
really do.
But that'll be an interesting because that could change a couple guys' lives and it also can change the division because now there's new blood, which is great. Always like new guys in each division.
Yeah, it rejuvenates the division. I like it. I hope that we see a lot of it.
Yes.
Speaking of the other one, Kevin Lee versus RDA just got announced.
Perfect decision. Because Kevin Lee finally realized that cut every time is destroying him to do his all. When he did have staff, he was a good fighter. When he didn't, he was even better. But Tony fucking beat him. Besides that, Kevin Lee needs to be in a division where an RDA is a perfect warm-up. RDA is not a big welterweight. He's not a guy that's going to tower over you. He's going to throw hands. He's going to be aggressive. Kevin Lee likes those fights. And by the way, Kevin Lee should probably have 3 more wins than he does right now if he wouldn't have done stupid things. Barboza fight's a perfect example. He didn't make weight for the Barboza fight, and he fucking won.
No, he lost to Barboza.
Ooh, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah?
No. Because he was on Rogan after they were joking about when he had the chicken feet. When he got hit with the classic Barboza spinning wheel kick. But my point of it is Kevin Lee's smart. don't take any more chances in the lightweight to not make the weight, to keep losing money, to keep not getting what you need out of it. And then, by the way, I'm going to be way more in size advantage and obviously just rehydrated. Was that him? Did he win that on decision?
Yeah, it is correct.
It was actually a really big talk about how close it was because Barboza did throw a bunch of kicks. He did put him in vulnerable positions, but Kevin Lee was fast, and we all know with Barboza, if you can get in and out without getting cleaned out or absolutely hurt bad, you're obviously at one of the tougher levels because Barboza has fucked up a lot of guys that have not been back in a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you get through the first few rounds of that.
Yeah. Strongest leg kicks in 4 divisions. 100%. I'm serious. I don't know if a light heavyweight could take those leg kicks for 5 rounds.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. We'll see how he does. Kevin Lee, I think, is going to struggle at welterweight as opposed to Rockhold, who I think is going to do well. I think that both the lightweight and welterweight divisions are so deep. It's going to be, I don't know these. There was a time I thought he was at the top of the division. I'm not convinced he is, and I don't think he's going to move up and be at the top of the welterweight either. Excuse me.
Well, timing is everything in these divisions, and I think Kevin Lee came in at a right time where he was beating big names. He was getting in battles and trash talks, with Chiesa talking about Colby Covington. I'll come up to you. It's the right division weight-wise for him, but as an actual fighter, skill and power, I don't know. It's just these weight cuts is what really struggles these divisions because guys are trying to be the biggest guy in that division, and by doing that, they're just stripping their body to do a lot of that, and that's why a lot of guys,
I don't think it's worth it.
It's not worth it. They're like, we need to do it one championship style.
Yeah, it's not worth it. So those are the big fights that have just been announced recently. On top of those now, we've got some more news. Michael Bisping was inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame, and I think that's great.
The thing about it that cracks me up is, think how long it took some fighters like Mark Coleman, Don Fry. Don Fry was more pride and everything else, but he basically put mixed martial arts big man style on the map. Michael Bisping just retired like 2 years ago, and he's already in the Hall of Fame. I mean, that's awesome because something a lot of people forget. Michael Bisping won some of the biggest fights of his career.
He has some great fights.
And also, he had one fucking eye.
Yeah.
After taking the TRT shin to the eye and losing his sight over an entire year and then still fought, he still kept the belt. Knocked out Luke. Had Anderson Silva win even though he got knocked out.
Yeah, he got knocked.
Flying knee.
It was not illegal.
No. The Silva one was.
No, that was a legal knee.
It was a legal knee. They didn't fucking give him the KO.
That's what's fucked up.
I know.
Yeah, that's the fight he should have never got out of the first round.
He's like, this is a terrific flying knee.
Yeah.
He's just, but the thing about it is, I
beat
think
Kung
that was
Lee.
So quick.
He won Tough Season 3.
Yeah.
He coached Tough.
The guy's been around 13, 14 years.
He had one defense as a middleweight champion.
That's big.
One successful defense.
Well, and he got to fight George St. Pierre.
Yeah, he had a hell of a career.
He had a hell of a career winner.
It all just fucking clicked for him, and he just got so, I don't want to say lucky.
He was just
he put in the work, but at one point the hard work paid off all at once, and he got. It was great.
All timing came in like you said.
Beat Anderson.
This is my time.
Avenged his loss against Luke. Both of those are avenged losses from previous.
And rough losses.
Yeah, and then he becomes the champion. Then he gets a... Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was the first time he fought Anderson Silva. But he fought Dan Henderson for the second time, avenged that loss in his title defense.
Well, you have to avenge after getting laid out.
And then got a fight against George St. Pierre.
Yeah.
And all of that happened in just like one stretch at the end of his career, and it's great for him.
Name more than 3 guys that he fought that weren't just average guys. Everybody he was fighting was monsters, big names, everything. And the thing about it to me...
He's been doing it for so long.
He's been doing it so long, and he's always had his name in the cards that... Yeah, it made a complete sense. So, congratulations, Mike. That's awesome, man. I think that's sweet.
Last week we found out, or maybe it was just Monday. Yeah, I think it was last week. TJ Dillashaw had an adverse finding in his blood results from USADA.
I thought it was fake news. Thanks, Google. Give me that little update on my Google Mail.
Yeah, that's... Oh, my God. What do you think this does to TJ's legacy? If it's... I guess it depends on what they find. It really does.
Well, here's my... 2 main topics on this. If this goes into a John Jones picogram situation,
it will.
USADA is throwing up their USADA flag saying, okay, we're having too many common things happen that are not going into our favor. And here's what we need to figure out. Why is it when these guys are cutting this much weight that this seems to happen, but we can test them for 6 months and they don't piss bad for anything? Okay, we have a common theme here. But is that common theme fair to get rid of or keep? Do you say, well, if you ever do drugs in your life, you're always going to have some in you, especially when you're super thin? Or do we say, we're going to stop testing when you're super thin. We're going to test you after the fight.
No, you gotta do it. You gotta do.
And that's my point.
But maybe you raise the limit, and maybe you say that if it's under 85 picograms, then it's nothing.
Which is a
something like that.
Pool.
Yeah,
no, that's my point. Is
you have to be able to determine that it is nothing.
If they go that route, I don't feel as bad for TJ because everybody has taken or done something at one point that.
That's what I'm saying. If this is from something that's 5 years ago, then
I'm okay with that. If they find out that he was on something that's new or not marketed, or it only shows up if you're pissing very dehydrated, which I'm sure he was, even though he said he wasn't, then I'm like, okay, TJ, that's fucked up. You should be stripped. But I think he knows what he took, and he knows it's illegal because he relinquished that belt in under 24 hours.
Yeah. What'd you think of that? You think he's going to come off good because he voluntarily gave up a belt that he was going to get stripped?
Well, did you see what Ariel Helwani said? He goes, they were going to take it anyway.
Yeah.
So he just kind of dove on his own grenade, basically to look like, oh, I just want to
guy.
show how humble I am. Dude, you just got popped by USADA.
It wasn't going to change where the belt was going. They were going to take it away.
I mean, you might as well give it to a kid with cancer because we're all expecting to take rid of it. And I don't think at all TJ right now knows what to do. I think TJ knows that this type of shit at his career... You got to remember, TJ's not that young. TJ's in his lower 30s. I think he's 34. He cannot risk having a year off suspended, especially when he is dominating the things
32
that he had.
I got him at.
32. So... You got him losing to Cejudo. Let's go 50-50 on that. That could have happened. That couldn't have happened. He could be the champ, whatever else. He has now got rid of his 135. He's not going to fight anytime soon. He's not going to fight Cejudo to get the 125 to prove to everybody he can do all this.
Yeah.
And then now you have a guy that was murdering the division, knocked out Cody twice, making people look stupid, and now you got him out that maybe he could fight in December. I know we keep talking about how the Bantam division turns over. Now you got for TJ, he's like, please don't turn over because I have momentum.
Yeah.
And then God bless, if he is taking something and now he can't take it, does it affect his play?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
so, I really hope not, man, because that would take away from so many great moments that he's had in his career.
What did you think of all the Team Alpha Male guys that came out and instantly said, oh yeah, he's definitely using? I'm surprised it's taking this long for people to find.
I don't ever want to say people are lying because in that instance, for everybody's story to be that similar, I don't think those guys are smart enough to say, hey, if anything ever happens, let's all come out about TJ. I think it was like, yeah, it happened all the time, and we just didn't think anything about it because once TJ left, we didn't care.
I just thought it was, I mean, they all like went out of their way to jump out real quick and say, oh yeah.
Well, they obviously want to make him look worse than he already is. He's made them look terrible. Yeah, they're obviously bitter about it. But here's my thing is, if you keep having the same people squawk about the same thing and it all sounds the same,
right.
Eventually you're thinking maybe it is somewhat
There's
true.
There's got to be something to it.
Something's going on to it. But my thing about it is, you know who I think that is really going to struggle with this is Dwayne Ludwig. I think Dwayne, knowing or not knowing, is going to be really hurt because he's going to realize that now his reputation is tainted. Yeah. Not that it's totally fair.
He goes around and
he goes
that
around,
Dwayne Ludwig thing all the time.
Well, and here's the other problem is Dwayne's basically sacrificed his life to the sport, and he has gone 120% into TJ. Okay, so now you have TJ that cannot help your financials, cannot fight, makes you look like you knew that he was going to be taking the drugs, and then also, now none of you are doing your job. You're going to train TJ out of your garage. You're not going to be paid for it unless he pays you or whatever your deal is. And by the way, TJ's missing out on some great opportunities to just make everyone money.
In big time.
Yeah. So I do feel bad for Dwayne. I think he's also going to be maybe like a Kavanaugh for McGregor and go, I don't know if I can come back and coach this guy.
Yeah, call it out or call it. Call it
so that could be interesting. So hopefully we get some good news on that topic.
Outside of the UFC, there's a couple fights coming up. It's going to be both DJ. Mighty Mouse and also Eddie Alvarez, their debuts in one championship. They're both in their respective weight classes championship tourney right now. which I think is
Which is cool as hell. I think it's cool as hell they do that.
Yeah.
What do you think of one championship? Just real quick would there be something that you would watch more regularly? Not as much as UFC, but like every time they have a decent fight, would you follow it? Or is it more to you, I'm going to see how these two guys do there from the UFC? Because if they both get starched, you're going, well, shit, maybe this is worth watching. They go in there and just rip someone's asshole, you're going to be like, well, 2 more guys we lost that we probably shouldn't have.
What do you predict? Which one do you think?
So I had, for my prediction on that, is I believe Eddie is probably going to get shin kicked to the head, TKO round 3.
Yeah.
I think he is going to go in there, try to overpress this guy. This guy's going to be able to take shots. He's going to bide his time, throw some leg kicks, keep him out. I think Eddie gets a little reckless and tired like he has. Conor, he got a very reckless and tired. He didn't play his game.
Yeah, I think he was just...
He was starstruck by how big this fight could be. He was put into a situation that if he knocked out Conor McGregor that night, he's probably one of the most iconic guys that wasn't. People did not get on the Eddie train in UFC.
No one did.
They didn't because it was this whole underground king and doing
he kind of does boring fights.
It's not about just boring fights. A lot of his fights, he was just going around trying to go for haymakers, which in turn makes him not fucking look good because when you're missing and you're not touching, the guy's trying to stay away from your bomb. It's like kind of Dan Hendo style. People just circle because they don't want to get that H-bomb. So a lot of times it makes the fight slower. Now I think DJ, on the other hand, because DJ, I think, besides what we've talked about before, being one of the pound for pounds, his game overall on the grappling and jiu-jitsu is so much stronger than most people, and he's so fast. I think he gets in like a body shot on a high knee to the stomach, maybe a liver shot on the cage, but I think he actually wins his debut just because his experience and what he's done to some of the guys right now that we're talking about in the flyweight division that are like, oh my God, Henry Cejudo. DJ made him look like a fool the first time with a knee to the body and finished him. Henry came back and played that wrestling game kind of like Usman, overran you, overwhelmed you, tired you out, didn't let you use your tools. But DJ fucked up a lot of people in that division that are top 5, some of them top 3 right now.
And he did it in all kinds of ways.
And he did it in all kinds of ways. So that's why I think DJ gets his debut. He's got too many weapons to go at you. I think Eddie tries to go and make a statement like, I'm here in one, takes one on the brow, he's out.
Yeah, I honestly expect DJ to step in and win this tournament.
Yeah.
I think he'll win the tournament. I think he's
a great
fantastic fighter. I think he goes over there and becomes the one flyweight champion at the end of the tournament. I think Eddie is going to do well there. I don't think he's going to win this tournament. I don't think he's ever going to be the lightweight champion there. I wouldn't be surprised if he loses this fight. I don't know anything about the guy he's fighting. Yeah. I think that he's really good and he's going to do really well, but I don't predict that he ever becomes the champion.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, that's it. That's it for the news that we had in the last couple weeks.
Don't need to listen to anything else. Don't even turn on CNN.
But a couple weekends ago, there was Fight Night 147 in London, and it was, I'd say, the best London card I've ever seen.
At least in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Easily.
Top to bottom, it was an entertaining card. I watched all the fights multiple times.
Yep, same. Had to. Honestly, there was so much that went on that night.
Yeah, it was a big night. Some of them went the distance. There was a bunch of decisions. It started out with Mike Grundy's debut, and all I'd ever heard about him is how great he is at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, same.
And he comes out and knocks out Nad Narimani in the first round.
Which is also a young gun, but
in round 2.
Yeah, round 2. But I'll tell you what, Grundy come out very nervous and hesitant in the beginning, which obviously it's his debut in the UFC. It's going to be a little overwhelming, but took some shots, got back into it, and honestly, to finish a guy with those big shots at the end like that shows guy's patient. He's got skills. This could definitely be a fun name to talk about more. I think that was a really fun opener to the card. So I think, like you said with London, that kind of started the night like, okay, we got a... People love seeing a knockout out the gate. It gets you jacked up. It
is a good way to start the night, that's for sure.
It lets you know that at any point someone could be put out, and at the same time someone could go 5 rounds and you think they win, and then this happens. So, yeah, great opening card there.
Yeah, and not only did he knock him out with those big shots at the end of the second, he had just got wobbled. I thought he was going to get knocked out. The other guy went in for the kill. Nad did.
Showed a hell of a chin.
Yeah, and then he recovered, backed up, landed some shots of his own, and finished the fight before the bell. It was a great fight to start. That was followed by Margie Casey defeating Joe Duffy. And Margie Casey had been on a rough streak after he got into the UFC. Joe Duffy's a pretty strong opponent.
He's a veteran also.
And Margie Casey just outclassed him everywhere. He made Duffy look slow.
The speed was a big factor.
Yeah, he slowed him down he smashed his legs with leg kicks.
Yeah.
And then Duffy was slow and overmatched everywhere for the entire fight.
Well, and the thing about DeCasey is exactly what you said, is he came in and had a tough go and had a tough streak. And, Joe Duffy's been around, everyone says, oh, well, he submitted Conor. And, okay, well, Conor was like 19 at the time, okay? So we're not considering that the greatest win of all time because he's had a rough go, too, in the UFC. But DeCasey definitely has stepped the game up. I think they said at one point, it was a 30-27 across the board. So, Duffy never put him in any danger. Once Duffy got cut, I noticed, it kind of took the gas just completely out of the tank for him. He was just not the same fighter. The leg kicks, too. He ate so many lower calf kicks. I don't care who you are. There's no way you're going to be the same fighter by that third round. So I think he was just kind of broke down, like you said.
So those were a couple fights in the prelims that were definitely worth seeing. Very entertaining.
Yeah.
The pay-per-view started with Jack Marshman and John Phillips, two Welshmen. Which how badass is their flag, man?
So the flag's super sick.
Dude.
I forgot. When's the last time you heard somebody from Wales? No.
No.
You just don't talk about it. I thought it was cool that Phillips stated that if they won the fight, whoever won was proclaimed the King of Wales. I'm like, that's the first thing you go for. That's awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun fight.
Yeah.
So Phillips knocked him down.
Active.
In the first, very early in the first round, Phillips knocked him down.
I got so excited.
Didn't jump on him. Just sat there, bowed, let him back up.
He's like, come on. No, and everybody has been saying that was his time to pounce. He was able to take an advantage on a hurt guy, did not, just to make it flashy. It was super flashy until you realize the guy got up and beat you by decision. Now, my problem, like you always know, Jack Marshman missed weight. So, when you're winning like that, that is a half win. You beat the guy. It shouldn't move you. It shouldn't help you. John Phillips definitely needs to learn from that fight that if he would have put in 20, 30, maybe at the most 40 more punches in that fight, not even takedowns, just punches touching him up like he was in the beginning, he would have had this fight won easily.
Yeah, I disagree with the decision. It was a split decision given to Marshman. I would have definitely given it to Phillips.
But you have to look loud. He was not looking loud. He was not looking compared. I didn't look at the numbers. I bet both of them were within 10 punches of each other because once he let him up, he did not get any of the main shots in. Phillips.
I think he did well, and I think he was the aggressor for the entire fight. I think Marshman looked like he was in great shape. He was running the entire fight.
Because he was fresh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I was surprised by the decision. And then plus you throw in the fact that Marshman missed weight.
Yeah.
I don't think it's one to throw in your cap, but it's better than a loss.
It's
I guess.
Win to win. So I get you.
That fight was followed by Claudio Silva and Danny Roberts, and this was my favorite fight of the night, actually.
There was definitely right off the feel of this fight was just you were excited because you knew these guys were going to come at it.
Yeah, so it started out, the first round, I thought Claudio Silva was just better at everything. He was better on the ground, or he's better standing up. He lit him up. He took him down on the ground, worked different submissions on him for about 3 minutes.
All over.
And then right before the end of the round, Danny Roberts scrambled him out and landed a few good shots. The second round, Roberts lit him up early. Put Silva down, stumbled him bad.
He wasn't moving. Like, he was just holding on.
But even after that, he was able to get a hold of him.
Yeah.
He was trying to put in submission attempts, but at every time, Roberts would get out, land a couple big shots.
He got out of positions that most people not only couldn't get out of, would be tapped in very quickly. He rode out a lot of tap situations and still got out. And everybody, Paul Felder said it on the commentary, he's like, I can't believe he just got out of that. He did it twice.
Against Claudio Silva, who's fantastic jiu-jitsu.
That's very high-level jiu-jitsu, yes.
So, yeah, and that just kept going on. So it went on to the third round. Again, Roberts
Right
knocks him down to the mat, and then Silva gets a hold of him, throws some submissions on. Roberts gets on top, hits him. Silva grabs hold of his arm. Roberts can't get him off. Goes to pick him up and slam him.
Slammed him on his neck, not even on his head. Like, slammed and cranked it, and he did not let go.
So, yeah, he did not let go. Roberts yells when he goes down. It looks like he's getting out of the hold, and the ref comes in and stops the fight with a verbal tap.
My thing is, with a verbal tap like that, you have to say tap 8-10 times in a row, because that pressure, that amount of adrenaline, you know your arm's about to snap, you're going to go tap, 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 tap. He said there wasn't even the word tap. He just grunted.
Yeah, if you scream in pain, that's a verbal tap.
And I get that. That's those situations you don't ever want to see, because we get it. It's all about the fighter's security and safety. But at the same time, it's tough when a guy got out of 2 unbelievable submission attempts that night and then put it on the guy, and then when he loses is by the same practice.
Yeah, this would have been... I don't know how the judges would have scored this. I think you have to give the first round to Silva. I think you have to give the second round to Roberts. The third round was going wherever it was going.
It could have went split.
It was so back and forth with grappling attempts and chokes and then ground and pound.
Well, and think about this on Devil's Advocate. All of a sudden, let's say Danny Roberts gets out again, but all of a sudden Silva doesn't go for any more takedowns. He throws some leg kicks, takes him down very lightly, just gets a takedown to get that last minute point, and then guess what? We're not even talking about a bad stoppage. But it sucks because we keep hearing more and more of these controversial stoppages.
Yeah, and this one's not like some of the other ones where you're stopping a choke early.
It's an anomaly.
Yeah, if you think someone's screaming in pain and their arm's ripped in half, then you go in and stop it. But it wasn't one that's happening.
It wasn't a case of that. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to see this fight again. I hope I would if this was a fight on every card I ever watched, it'd be great. I had such a good time watching it.
This jumped up the prelim card really quick.
Oh no, that was a pay-per-view card fight.
Oh, that's right. We moved from out of it. Yep. Yeah.
And then after that, we saw Nathaniel Wood, and he looked good.
Man, I tell you what, when he come out and Brad Pickett, who used to be in the UFC, was slapping him in the face because he's his trainer, I was like, all right, cool, this is good. Jose I like a lot because he's very lean and tall. He's fast on leg kicks, everything else.
Fantastic mustache.
That mustache, and it's black as night.
Yeah, dude.
My thing on that fight that I was so impressed, did you notice right when Nathaniel Wood come in, he probably, gave 4 inches on Jose? Probably. Maybe 3?
Yeah, maybe 3.
Okay, but my point is, he walked Jose down the whole night until he got his sub.
He was confident.
He did not give a fuck if he got punched in the face, he got clipped, and then guess what? Jose throws a leg kick. He throws 2. He gets on, gets an underhook.
As soon as he took his back, it was over.
As soon as he took his back, it was over. But the thing about it is it shows the speed of Wood, fun to fucking watch, another awesome guy to have in that division that we could talk about, in a month
he looks
or 2.
Promising, yeah.
He could get another because when these guys don't take a lot of damage like him, he could fight in 2 months, and we could be talking about him fighting a top 10 guy. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I love that fight, man.
Actually, I thought I read that maybe... Peter Yan had called him out, and that would be a fun matchup.
Yeah, I mean that's as good as you're going to get right now. And again, 2 guys that are trying to get up
just getting wins and wins and wins. Yeah, both of them look really good. I would love to see that matchup.
And Peter Yan fights very similar to Nathan Wood on a lot of aspects. So to have 2 guys like that are just basically going to trade hands a lot, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think Quinonez just realized he was in for more than he bargained for.
I think it was too much.
Yep. Nice. After that fight, Dominic Reyes and Volkan, and this is another one I disagree with the decision.
I did too.
I thought Volkan won every single round. I would have scored him every single round, and I don't know how he lost that fight.
So I looked up the pattern and the stats of everything, and some were over and some were under. The problem is Reyes threw a bunch and did not land his better accuracy.
He landed more, I guess.
And he just happened to be more accurate. The problem is when you have Ozdemir with a takedown and Reyes doesn't, and it goes to Reyes.
And Volkan lit up Reyes. Reyes never hurt Volkan. You can look at his face afterwards.
No.
Reyes got hit with a lot more power shots.
I honestly think what we've talked about before is Reyes was looking nonstop active, even when he was getting clipped by Volkan, that it looked like he was being the
Volkan
progressor.
was walking him down.
I know. That's what I'm saying. he threw so many back and forth punches that didn't do anything that he looked like he was more active. Or someone just did not pay attention that there was a takedown by Ozdemir that didn't clinch the deal.
Yeah, I don't know. You hear him talk about aggression and octagon control.
How'd that work
and
out
all
for
of
Ben
this.
Rothwell?
Yeah,
Ben Rothwell never took his back foot more than 2 steps to go against him.
No, I would agree with that. I think Ben Rothwell won one round. He won it by a lot.
Well, no, he 100% won one round, but
and he didn't win the other two.
I get that. The thing is that aggressor can go either side really quick.
Yeah.
You can look aggressive or you can actually be aggressive. It could be a different outcome. Because, like you said, Ozdemir walked him down and he fucking lost.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how he could have lost. I was looking at everything they say they look at when they're determining points for the round, and I couldn't give Reyes a single
And what
round.
we talked about last podcast is how big of a win-lose that was
Reyes
for both
kicked him in the
guys.
nuts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying is now Ozdemir with that many losses in a row, that's a huge chalkboard to erase and start from scratch. And then you also
It's not bad though. Like he was saying in this going into this fight, Reyes' last fighter, his most previous fight, I believe, was Ovens.
Yeah, Volkan Ozdemir, yeah. Or I'm sorry, Ovens Peru.
It was Ovens. So that was Volkan's first fight in the UFC. And he's only fought people better than that. Yeah. So having a few losses like that, he has lost 3 since he had that title fight. Like I just said, I don't think he lost this fight.
No, so I think
people know that Volkan's got crazy power, and I think he's going to stay in that top 10. I think that, man. So they've matched him up against Ilir Latifi. So that's going to be on the Sweden card.
So I was going to ask you, did you think that fell very well in line?
I think it works.
Yeah.
If Volkan's fine coming back that quick, it makes sense. It's going to be in Sweden. That's close to home.
I would have personally liked the Corey Anderson because we've been talking a lot about Corey Anderson, how you forget about him. And he's been sitting on the sideline. He's been asking for fights. He's not getting them. Give him a fight against someone like that.
Dominic Reyes.
Well,
that's the next fight for Dominic Reyes, I think.
Corey Anderson?
I think Reyes showed that he is not good enough to fight John Jones yet. He did not look good in this fight.
Well,
if you want to keep moving him up, give him Corey Anderson. I think that's the winner of that is in good shape to be the next title contender.
I was going to get actually more greedy. I was going to have him fight Santos.
Yeah, I'm still surprised they haven't done anything with Santos and
only for marketability,
Jones.
and I know I always talk about that, is I think if he fights Santos, let's say we don't get a Santos-Jones going as quick.
Yeah, if we're not doing a Jones fight, then I'm on board. I want to see him fight.
That is instantly the next fight to make, especially with Smith coming off a loss, and then obviously Santos is coming up with a win, but you want to be able to have a situation where you got to let's see what happens with Gustafsson and Smith. Where they end up. Because Gustafsson could lose and then Anthony's back up in the game. Well, obviously Santos is not going to fight Anthony right away.
No.
Because Anthony's probably going to be either injured or have some time off.
Yeah, because Santos just knocked him out.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. I think, honestly, Reyes goes and fights Santos right now in the next 4 months.
Yeah,
and see what happens.
It blows my mind we haven't heard anything new about John Jones. He's been so vocal that he wants to fight 5 times in 2019.
John Jones also could be doing a lot behind the scene right now because think of the fights he's had, and they line him up. He could have a fight in April, or not in April, let's say May. And then he could have another fight in August, September.
He could
almost be crazier, and he could do a December card.
Yeah, he does. He's always on his December cards.
He loves December cards. So I'm saying that can 100% happen, but Jesus, let's get someone fighting Jones.
Yeah,
let's do this while we're all young here.
That's how I felt. I really thought they were going to announce Thiago Santos. Everyone seemed to be on board except for maybe Jones, I guess. But I thought they were going to line up the Santos fight with Jones, and then that was going to be done. And then I do think that Dominic Reyes and Corey Anderson is the fight to make for both of them.
Yeah,
I think it makes sense for both of them. Like I said, Reyes is not good enough to fight the top of the division yet.
No.
Corey Anderson wants to be the top of the division, and I think this one puts him there. So I think that's the fight to make. And
you know what's crazy about Corey Anderson, though? If he wouldn't have taken that head kick from Oven St. Peru, completely different career path the last 2 years. I'm telling you, Corey Anderson would be top 5 every fucking time we talk.
I think he's that good.
No, he is that good. That fucking head kick made a lot of people lose confidence in him because he got laid out.
What do you think of the co-main event? Leon Edwards and Gunnar Nelson.
You know, I like Gunnar a lot just because I've seen him absolutely go wrestling to the T, ground and pound. He's very patient. He's got a unique style. He doesn't even look like a UFC fighter, really, and he does a lot of fun things. Leon Edwards is on a tear, man. I even talked about it. Cowboy fight, he went the decision with him. He fucked Cowboy up, but he also said, hey, look, I'm not available to be at the highest level right now. I need to keep growing and growing. Then, obviously, that Till Masvidal card got announced in his home country. He's pissed about it. He's going in hot. I think in that division with him, he's kind of a guy that's waited back and bid his time. I think it is Leon's time to give him a chance to go in there and prove a point. But I think with Gunnar could have had that fight.
You think so?
I think if Gunnar would have played a game, I'm not saying that he did. I'm saying if he would have played a more ground game to get in nasty, not get in control, because Leon took a lot of advantage of that ground game, and then got up and landed a lot of hands on him. I think if he would have got down there and played really dirty ground game, punches over, elbows over, I think he could have wore Leon down to where Leon doesn't get to use his speed and hands. Didn't happen. I think that's why, as Leon was able to tee Gunnar up, control him, take him down, stuff a lot of takedowns.
Yeah, I thought he looked better at everything. I thought he was better on the feet. I thought he was better grappling, which I was not expecting.
It's unfortunate that just to be honest, he's a lot faster than Gunnar, so he's got a hell of an advantage.
He put that baseball on his face. You see that?
And Gunnar took it, but you knew right away that affected the rest of the fight. Because that mouse was fucking bad.
Oh my gosh, that's like one of the biggest hematomas I've ever seen.
But the thing about it is, that's how tough Gunnar is. And think if something like that didn't happen and he got a hold of Leon early, he could have busted Leon up. He just didn't get the chance because Leon's defense was that good.
Potentially, watching it, I was surprised this was a split decision. I don't know how you give Gunnar Nelson 2 of those rounds. I thought Leon Edwards was better everywhere.
Yeah.
And then after the fight, they didn't move Leon Edwards up in the rankings. He's still number 10, which I don't believe. I don't understand. I thought he looked so good. Everyone loves Gunnar Nelson. He shut him down in every way. And
there's something about Leon that people are not latching onto, and I don't know if it's because it's, he's a European black guy and people think it sounds weird to see a black guy talk like that, or no, and I'm being serious because I don't know why you wouldn't like this guy. He puts on good shows. Maybe here's a reason. He's in the welterweight division and he's not knocking everybody out.
Yeah, because everyone else is. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think it's one of those situations that he wants somebody and they want somebody in there that's knocking everybody the fuck out. And I think with a situation like Leon, with having 4 of your last 5 wins by decision, it's tough for people to remember you unless you were that Barboza with a flying knee, or all of a sudden
Three of those decision wins are Donald Cerrone, Brian Barberina, and Vicente Luque. And all they do is throw punches.
So apparently Leon can survive and he can also be durable. But my point about it is I think Leon should honestly be up around that 5-6 range.
I'm surprised he's not at least 6, 7, 8 after that win.
We're not involved in everything here. We're obviously not on the matchmaking. Yeah. If we were, we'd probably be making a lot more money. But I think Leon has to get a better fight. Who do you think?
There's just so many good people in the welterweight.
Let me ask you, what do you honestly think? Who do you think Leon fights next?
So he really wants the Jorge Masvidal fight. Masvidal doesn't seem to want it. Yeah, that's crazy. I think that 3-piece in a soda.
3-piece in a soda, baby. Yeah, he lit him up.
I think that Santiago Ponzinibbio is also struggling to find a fight.
So I thought about that because not only in ranking wise, but obviously timing wise, Ponzinibbio is healthy. He's been waiting. Leon is trying to get up the ranks. Pons isn't much higher than him, but that's a big guy to go through.
Yeah, they're both.
And he fucked up Gunnar.
Big deals.
So it's kind of a situation we both beat Gunnar. We're about the same type of style right now because, Ponzinibbio fought Mike Perry.
They're both on 7-fight win streaks.
Fighting Ponzinibbio. So I think, honestly, the Masvidal sounds great. It's not ready. In the meantime, go Ponzinibbio. And then if you beat Ponzinibbio, then absolutely you go to a Masvidal. Because I can guarantee you right now, after that fight with Darren Till, Masvidal is going to take a good 3 months off.
That's the other thing is I don't know how to understand how Masvidal jumped up to a top 5 ranking. He was ranked behind.
I was going to talk to you about that. I think the biggest thing with that is some of the wins that he had early in his career, not his career currently right now, were some big battles. When you're losing against Stephen Thompson on a decision and Damian Maia, both on decisions, you didn't get put out.
Yeah,
those aren't bad
losses.
Those are not bad losses. Before that, you knocked out Donald Cerrone. Before that, you knocked out Jake Ellenberger. Jake Ellenberger was older, but still wasn't that old in 2016. Then you end up coming in here and knocking out Darren Till, who a lot of us a year and a half ago were talking about was going to be the next fucking big thing changing the world in the weight division. So Masvidal basically came in and said, I can either lose this and go down to like 15, or I can win this and stay where I'm at because you said, okay, we've seen what you've done in the past, either prove it or not. Now, Masvidal's next fight, which we're going to talk about in a minute, really does depend on what Leon does. Because if Leon doesn't fight him out the gate and he fights somebody else, Masvidal will wait. Because after that encounter, he'll wait around to bust somebody's ass.
So let's talk about this fight. Masvidal and Till.
Okay.
Till was a big favorite. Till's the bigger guy. I had Till winning.
Same.
I thought Till was going to knock him out. I knew he was going to take a lot. I thought if he was going to knock him out, it had to be in the championship rounds. I mean, you don't finish Jorge Masvidal. It doesn't happen. But I was thinking 4th round maybe. Till gets to him.
Reverse triangle choke.
Yeah, but not a knockout. I mean, it's
I know. Go ahead.
So yeah, and then for the first 2 rounds, well, I guess so. Funny as hell, Masvidal comes out and kicks him in the nuts.
And then opening punch from Till.
Right.
Drops him.
Takes him down. In the second round, something similar happened. Till accidentally eye poked him.
Yes.
And right after that, Masvidal clipped Till really well. But through 2 rounds, it looked like Till was getting the better of him everywhere.
He was just pouring it.
Yeah, he was getting the bigger shots. Maybe not more shots, but definitely way more damage. Way more damage.
Power in the shot.
Yeah, he hit 1 or 2 big ones, and Masvidal would throw him a 3-piece combo.
No soda at this point.
Yeah, no soda.
No soda.
The soda came later.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, he hits him with it, and it's done.
I think I told you this the other night when this fight was actually happening live. I honestly thought there was about 35 seconds before that where Till kind of got pushed back, clipped, and kind of not bounced his head, but just had that hard upper shoulder right on the mat and then took a quick punch and then took 3 more after that. I think he wasn't hurt. I think he was just a little bit off because he was like, all right, I'm taking some, pop shots. Let's chill out. And then before he could reset, Masvidal came in with that left, and it was over.
Yeah, over.
He was out twice in the air, knocked him out, clipped him, and then hit him again. And then as on the ground, landed another. Till's fucking out curled toes.
Yeah. The other thing about that fight is that crowd was crazy. It was one of the craziest crowds I think I've ever heard on in a MMA fight.
You could hear the echo.
It was a nuts crowd. It was a great environment. Like I said, this is my favorite card that I've ever seen in a London card.
Oh yeah.
And
nobody's finished a fight, and especially when you have legacy like Masvidal, where it's like, hey, I've been gone 2 years. Everybody knows who I am, though. And by the way, I sat down at a table with Darren Till, and I said, let's just talk peaceful. And Darren Till is like, I'll fucking fight anybody. I don't care. It doesn't matter who's in front of me. And these guys are sitting there at the table just saying, I love how you fight. I love how you fight. I know we're going to scrap. Let's go do it. No trash talk. They go. That same fight happened from the words that they said, and they come out and did that. Masvidal just waited his time. And something that Dan Hardy said on there that made sense that I'd forgot about, he goes, some of Masvidal's best shots and wins are on counters. Mm-hmm. He is being pressured or taken down, and he drops a shot. If you look at the video, Till had just pressured him.
Oh, yeah, he made a miss on the left and then hit him with his own left.
And instantly came back, and he moved. And that's the thing. Masvidal is not a guy that you're going to clip once and take down. The opening punch from Till that counted was right to his face, and Masvidal in the interview goes, I don't even remember seeing the punch. He goes, I just remember falling down.
Oh, yeah. He was...
And he got up and got so reset from that, and that goes to show again.
Yeah, he said. I think he
Answer
said he
your
was
question,
knocked out
Don.
a little.
That's exactly why he has stayed where he is in the rankings.
He didn't stay where he is. He jumped from like 12.
No, but think of the guys in that division. And by the way,
I know 2 of them are Thompson and Maya, who he just beat, and now he's ranked ahead of.
Well, the problem is, who else has been around as long as any of those top 3 guys in that division? Nobody. It's all these newcomers coming up or guys moving out of divisions.
Tyron's been around. Colby's new.
Well, obviously, I'm talking below that. I'm talking 8, 10, 12.
Oh,
There's
Robbie.
a lot of guys. Yeah, well, Robbie was out for a year and a half. So I'm not saying that
it is a lot of new guys.
I'm not saying it's deserving, but I'm also saying, hey, if you won 15 NASCAR races in a row and then all of a sudden you get Dale Earnhardted, you know, you would hope you'd come back to life and be able to still drive where you used to go. All right, let's just say that. You don't need to all of a sudden lose your place because you're dead. That's what happened to Masvidal. He took some time off.
Yeah.
I'm back. And guess what? If he lost that fight against Till, he could be down in that 15.
Oh, yeah, he would have been.
So, you know, at the end of the day, just like we said, ton of potential to lose and gain, and Jesus, Masvidal gained.
Yeah, I just don't think he's calling for a title fight next.
No, I agree.
I don't understand
it's
it.
Just like Israel Adesanya said. He said, I don't need this fight for the title, even though I could. I want one more fight, and then he got gas on him.
Yeah.
He does not want to do stuff. That Anderson fight was the best thing ever. It was a legacy fight. It was an absolute proving point fight, and by the way, it didn't cost him anything, because even if he would have lost to Anderson, Anderson's not fighting for a belt.
No.
You have to take the fights that are given to you to make a statement, and beating Anderson Silva in a decision and not being on a fucking gurney is a pretty big decision and a huge risk reward, honestly, in my opinion.
So who does Masvidal get next? He wins. He got in the middle of his interview backstage. He sees Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
Leon, I don't know what he says. Anyways, Masvidal walks up to him with his hands behind his backs and then throws him a 3-piece in a soda right to the face.
Finally, the soda
Cuts
showed
Leon
up.
Edwards.
Oh, busted him all up.
His cheeks all cut up.
Hey, best sucker punch in the game, as he
Yeah,
says.
it must be. So, and then he gets pissed off that people are talking about him and Leon Edwards fighting. What do you think's going to happen when you do that?
You know,
I love that. I hope that.
Oh,
that would
fuck.
be.
No,
That would,
that's
if I
the
could pick a
first-
fight, that's the
First
one.
fight I wrote down, I said Leon Edwards has absolutely the biggest fight of his life, and Masvidal and him both are chipping at each other. Masvidal's coming back into fighting going, I don't want any more trash talking. I just want to show it on the canvas. Fuck. Do it both here with Leon. Whoop his ass, give him 5-piece and a soda, and then end up fucking being the next guy that says, come on at me, I'm back up in contention, I'm back around.
I think that's a great fight to make.
Fuck. And then both of them are going to be very healthy in 3 months. Get a May card going. It's only going to be April next month. Get a late May, get an early June card, and then be done with it. Because by that time, you got a lot more movement, and the fucking Usman's going to be getting itchy to defend his belt. I'm not saying that it's going to be like a September fight, maybe in October, November, but Usman's going to have to defend before the end of the year. It's only what did he just win? Early March?
Yeah.
Now, how many times have we seen people like Tyron Woodley go a year, almost a little over a year without fighting? Maybe Usman takes that.
Yeah, I think he'll fight at the end of the year probably.
I think Usman also realizes that with his body, he can't smash in 3 fights a year as a champ. You can't do that shit. He's got to take one, maybe. Yeah, but the thing is, man, the mind can be strong. The body can give up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I agree with the Leon Edwards.
I think Leon Edwards is a great fight to make.
Brainer.
Ben Askren had called out the winner of that fight, and I think this is a good fight for Ben Askren. What's too early?
It's too early for Ben to be doing those type of fights.
To fight a Masvidal? They're ranked the damn same. Ben Askren is 19-0. He's older than Masvidal, isn't he?
He's old.
Oh, same age.
He's definitely
same age.
Same age. I think with someone like Funky, you got to get somebody in there. I don't even want to see anybody, below Ponzinibbio, but I think maybe if Ponzinibbio is around, let him take a fight. But the thing is, no one's going to latch onto it. Ponzinibbio is a huge dude. He's tatted. He's going to throw hands. Askren just kind of did that with Robbie, but Robbie's not that big. I think you got to have Askren prove himself again because...
Oh my God, more of a proof than Robbie Lawler?
No, I'm not saying that. I think with that fucking fight there was both. Robbie was out and also it was called too early. I think that was one punch away from Robbie saying, you never even get my neck. Let's go do this again with somebody else that does the same thing. Let's give a proving point.
Like Jorge Masvidal?
Yeah, but I get that, but I don't think Jorge is going to have any fucking interest in
No,
Ben
he's not.
Askren.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So Ben
I
Askren was
just think
calling
it's
us
not
out.
there.
I think because Jorge Masvidal right now has options, there's no way he takes a Ben Askren fight.
Yeah.
No one wants to fight Ben Askren because it's not going to be a fun fight.
No,
it's not going to be fun.
Miserable.
Yeah, it's
miserable.
He's not going to strike with you. He's going to get a hold of you, and he's going to strangle you, and he's going to smother you, and you're not going to have a good time. No one wants that fight.
No.
So I think that Masvidal, what I think makes perfect sense, but someone else who has options right now would maybe be Pettis after coming up to lightweight. That is going to be a fight I think both of them are going to think is fun. I think both of them would get behind that fight.
Yeah.
It's going, with Pettis just beating Stephen Thompson,
Wow.
it makes sense for
That's
that.
a huge marketable card too.
Oh,
Two
yeah.
crazy men.
Everyone's going to want to see that fight.
Yeah.
It's both of them are like I said, they both have options right now.
And if that went on a pay-per-view, that's even more.
So it's going to depend on a lot of things to line up or a lot of other options to fall off, but I think that's a fantastic fight too. I think the Leon Edwards fight is the one that makes the most sense, but if you're just trying to get a good fight that I think both fighters are going to get behind and everyone's going to want to see it, Pettis and Masvidal makes a lot of sense.
Nobody's saying I'm going to skip on that pay-per-view unless you're crazy. So, nice. I like that a lot.
What's Till do after he gets knocked out?
I think he unfortunately goes very far back in line, and I think Till, honestly, I had some ideas for him, but the thing is the way this division is moving, I
think middleweight's the way to go.
I think
you take some time off and you go to middleweight.
I wanted to get to that. I said, if you stay in and you want to know how durable you are and how good you are, I actually wanted to get a little greedy with it. Set them up middle of June. Robbie Lawler, Darren Till.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie Lawler, Darren Till, you have two guys that are very similar to Masvidal and Darren Till. Just want to throw, break you down, hurt you, take you to a point to where I'm going to put you down and lay shots out, just like he tried to do to Askren. You do a fight like that, two things happen. Darren Till loses, people feel bad. They're like, it was Robbie Lawler, but they also go, Darren Till, you were ripping up the ranks, and then you've just been getting starched by the guys that you needed to make it through. It's obviously time to move back. Doesn't mean he goes anywhere. Robbie Lawler wins that fight. Okay, Askren fight happened. Let's do something different. Okay, let me come up the ranks. Hey, Leon Edwards, let's go and bang a little bit. Or, whoever's available. Ponzinibbio, fucking any of them. Get him to where he is actively fighting because Robbie is healthy. He looks the best he's looked in a long time. And like I just said, 2 more punches I'll give you on fucking Ben Askren.
No, I really think that the UFC is gonna push hard and hard and hard to get that fight, that rematch.
It's a fight that people want to see, but a lot of people don't, and the problem is because they know it's going to go different this time.
I don't think people
many
know that.
people got behind Ben Askren's ass and said, "Whoop, hope he doesn't fuck up." Okay, how many people are going, Ben Askren's going to go in there and just rip his ass, and then when you see Ben Askren, one arm pinned up, getting just beat the dog shit out of on the mat, there's a lot of people that would have happened. They would go, well, guess I was wrong about Ben. He's too old or he's too late.
Or it's not the UFC.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, this makes sense to rematch it, but also, too, it's timing-wise.
Yeah, I don't even want to see it.
I think it's boring. I think it's going to be a boring fight.
I don't know why they'd want to make it again. I don't know why anyone wants to
if you get Robbie Lawler in a situation where he can bang, not worried about being neck cranked or bulldog choked.
Right, so then don't fight Ben Askren.
No, but this goes back to it is the having somebody like Ben is beneficial because you go to show how this game can advance so high at the wrestling level. But as a person that wants to watch it, that's not like you and me, it's not real fucking entertaining seeing Ben Askren put someone in a neck crank on a bulldog choke.
If they're the best in the world, it is.
It is. He's not fighting for a belt. He's also not even fighting for a contender spot. He was fighting to say, I need to get in the UFC and people get behind me, and he fucking did it. And I'll give him that.
He came in as top contender.
Shit.
He came in as top
contender. All
contender.
right, well, I like Ben Askren a lot. I'm going to tell you what, next fight, Ben Askren's getting knocked the fuck out. I'll put it down now.
I'll take it.
All right, so whenever they make that fight, I will tell you Ben Askren will be knocked the fuck out.
I'll take it.
All right. Next up.
Yeah, so anyways, speaking of Till, going up the rankings like you were saying,
Sure.
and now it's time to step back. I think it means it's time to step up, because I think when you're on a tear like that, and he's been saying for a while now that he can't stay at welterweight, he's going to have to move up to middleweight. When you're on a tear and you're winning, you keep doing it.
Yeah. Make a
you
change.
lose 2 in a row like this.
Make a change.
Now is the time.
That's
this is the time to move up, and I don't think there's any looking back.
And there's nothing to lose.
And I think you take some time off, and so I think that
maybe get 6 months, get healed up, get
I think
trained.
the right move for him is to plan on moving up to middleweight, see where that division goes, and then step in, like Rockhold's doing now, like Kevin Lee's doing now. I think that's probably the move for him. This past weekend, so that, like I said, this was a fantastic card.
Great London card.
Everything about it was great. But this last weekend we had a card in. I don't know where it was. Nashville, Tennessee, and there must be better stuff to do, because this one wasn't as good as the last one. But Fight Night 148 on ESPN Plus. The first ranked fighters we saw were Eric Shelton and Jordan Espinoza, and this is a flyweight fight. So at least the UFC's still having flyweight fights, even if maybe there won't be a flyweight division. But they do still have the fights. Shelton took a nut shot and an eye poke in this game or this fight, and then lost, which sucks.
It was another one of those fights that Shelton had everything set up and prepared right to win this fight, and everything that could have went wrong did. A nut shot and an eye poke, not going to help your game in a game like this. Espinoza, I think, did his job, but this was a kind of a tough fight to open up with, honestly. This was not my favorite. 2 guys that could have really made a standout, kind of like we talked about last fight, but not really my favorite in that division.
Yeah, it was not an entertaining fight. I didn't think no one really did much damage. Both of them are in crazy good shape. That was
those guys were definitely eating the Wheaties.
Overall, I didn't think it was very impressive. Jordan Espinoza did win by decision.
Yep.
And I think that was his first fight in the UFC.
Yes.
So he's going to be looking to move up the flyweight ranks, because they're pretty shallow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We had Ronda Marcos and Angela Hill after that.
Yeah.
And I actually thought Angela Hill was going to perform better. The fight I saw her against Jessica Andrade, I was so impressed by how she hung in there. She looked tough, and I don't know. This fight, she just got taken down and submitted.
Angela Hill, she's had an ups and downs, and she's also been around for a while. She was on the Ultimate Fighter, obviously, for the women in the strawweight, and I think Angela's biggest problem is a lot of fights that she needs to win, she doesn't win. And this was, Marcos hasn't been murdering it either. She's been around, she's been a name, she's entertaining to watch, but she's not been somebody that's been hurting people in the division. I think that fight, Marcos is ranked 15th. So she's going to move up, obviously, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 spots, depending on what Felice Herring does here. Cavallillo just moved up, and Alexia Grasso. It's some movement for Marcos for sure. Angela Hill, I don't know. I hate to say it. I don't know if she'll ever get back in the 15.
Oh, I don't know if she'll get back in the octagon. I mean, she's looked good in losses, and this time she didn't even look good. I mean,
it's just hard for me to latch on to say that even if this girl won 4 fights in a row right now, I don't even think she could hang with a Felice Herring.
Yeah, I think that her time's up. She's past her prime, and
it sucks because she used to be very enjoyable to watch, but I just don't know if it's there anymore.
Yep. I know you were impressed by the next fighter, Marlon Vera. Knocked out Frankie Saenz in the very first round, I believe.
Yeah, I called it to say because I watched the last fight with Marlon, and he is just such a long, fast, aggressive guy to where he wants to get in your face. Even if he gets clipped, he gets hesitant, and then he gets right back in it. I think at his size, his movement, and everything else, and I know you thought it was greedy, I think this guy, not anytime within this year, not even maybe next early year, I think by 2021, I'm calling it, this guy's going to have the belt.
Yeah, in the bantamweight division.
In the bantamweight division, for the way that he fights and just how aggressive he is, I really think that this guy, maybe he doesn't get that belt, but I'm telling you, he will be a top 5 guy in 2 more fights. Yeah. Especially in the bantamweight.
Looks to have potential. We'll see. There are some guys up there at the top of the bantamweight division that might disagree.
It's a different division once you pass 10.
Yeah, right. It changes at that point.
Yeah.
The pay-per-view started with the debut of Macy Barber, and she was fighting J.J. Aldridge, which was a good fight.
It was a very good fight.
J.J. Aldridge looked like a much slicker boxer for the majority of the fight. She was just the better striker. She was clean. Having her way.
Very clean.
Yeah, clean, tight. And then Barber came up with some big shots and put her out, and that was the end of the fight.
You know, Macy's just overall punching power plus her elbows, because you obviously saw in her debut how much blood and how many cuts she had back there last October, November, I believe. This girl wants to wait and be patient and get dangerous. I don't think JJ had been expected to see somebody take a lot of jabs, take a lot of lower leg kicks, some moving around, and then snap right back and go full force. I think she just overwhelmed JJ, and also the ground and pound. It sucks for JJ because she was a good name in that division, and she still is, but that would have been a really fun fight to move her up with. But Macy, again, now Macy's got all the opportunity in the world.
Yeah.
She's got Dana White that says, hey, look, you didn't say I was going to
They're going to market her.
I'm in here. I'm entertaining. I got 2-0. Yeah, okay. Well, let's go to 3-0. Let's go to 4-0. Let's talk until I lose.
Win by TKO.
I'm going to keep going. And you've had 2 TKOs in a row. And in that women's division, how many TKOs do you think are in a women's division in a year? Maybe 5. This girl's got 2 in under 7 months. Like, there is a lot of opportunity with this girl. And you know what? She's trying to be the new little mini Conor in the women form. Fuck it. Let it happen.
Yeah, we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
Might turn into something. Yeah. Luis Pena defeats Steven Peterson by decision. Luis missed weight.
Paint that picture, Violent Bob Ross. Paint that picture. You shouldn't have went to featherweight.
Yeah,
He was so lean at 155 cut as it was. To jump to 145, he's like his kidneys were not shriveled. I mean, he missed by 2.5 pounds. I thought it was closer to 3. He missed by 2.5 pounds. That's scary.
What did you think of the fight itself?
I talked to a lot of people about it. I think if Luis had a full tank, let's say it's at a 155, I think he beats that body up. He loves that front kick with those long legs. He likes the inside leg kicks. He's long. He touches you up, beats you inside, and then maybe gets a leg kick and knee. I don't think he had the power in himself. I think it stripped him of basically being that stronger, more powerful energy fighter. And I think, honestly, it was a fight that could have went either way. I just think that Luis threw a lot of shit, but it didn't really impact on my end. I don't think he really ever did anything outright. I won this fight.
You see the wind up and the flying knee?
Yeah. I mean, he was entertaining to watch, but I don't think that was his best performance. He said it was one of his worst performances, and he apologized for missing weight. Again, I don't want to keep putting that star over it. When you don't make weight, it's hard to get behind you when you win.
Yeah, I thought he looked good. Not overly impressive, but I mean, he looked as impressive as I thought he would.
It's like Derek Lewis coming in at 480 pounds, and he knocks out a guy that weighs 230. It's not going to be that cool.
After that, we saw Jussier from Formiga, and he beat Davison Figueiredo.
Oh my goodness!
I don't know where the winner of this fight goes because
oh my god,
the flyweight division is so. Who knows? I mean, Cejudo doesn't look interested in fighting the flyweight division. I guess Formiga now gets Joseph Benavidez. And they're going to hope that there's a champion to fight afterwards.
Hoping that somebody's standing up top waiting to fight.
Yeah.
I mean, both of those guys just, to have Figueiredo, obviously have his first loss after all he's done. And I mean, he did not fight a bad fight. Formiga just was the better fighter that night. That's all it was. But
yeah, he was better.
I think at the top up there with Cejudo's situation right now and then Benavidez, yeah, you have to. And the thing is, how soon do you make that fight? Are you going to be able to make another fight after?
And Saturday's co-main event was Curtis Blaydes and Justin Willis. My favorite part of the fight, honestly, was when Curtis Blaydes came out to the Mortal Kombat theme.
Yes.
The fight itself was pretty one-sided. Curtis Blaydes just wrestled him, beat him up for 15 minutes.
The pressure was huge.
Yeah, I was expecting more from Justin Willis. Didn't see it.
Talked a lot of shit to get into it.
Yeah, there was not much to see. I'm not sure what his game plan was, but whatever it was, it didn't work. I mean, it was.
It goes to show what you've talked about before, and I know you've always been on, especially the Overeem fight's a perfect example. The wrestling power and control. You know, when you have a guy like Willis that he can just take down in that case and just keep down and say stay down, and Willis cannot use his punching power. He's getting tired, obviously. He's got nothing offensively to do, so, you know, Blades is just beating him up. This makes Blades look exactly like he used to. New upcomer, new style, powerful. There was no heavyweights doing that 10 years ago in that division. Curtis Blades is going in and taking guys down and winning fights by making them not be able to use their power. That's a different speed. But he'll also still knock you the fuck out.
Yeah.
So
Curtis Blades looked good. I mean,
he just looked sharp, and you know what? I had a lot of respect for him when Justin Willis was getting all chippy. I know Justin's trying to get himself promoted. Blades is like, okay, hey, just stop talking. We'll wait. We'll go. We'll fight, and I'll tell you what'll happen. But yeah, I think great win for Blades. Willis, I honestly think he's got to drop more weight. I think that extra weight is hurting him.
It's hard to see. It's hard to tell because he didn't do anything, so you don't know what he can do or what he can't
I've
do.
seen
He couldn't
his
do
other
anything.
fights, like when he won against Sherman. Okay, I love Sherman to death, but Sherman is not a top 15 guy. He's barely a top 20 guy. So Justin Willis knocking him out is cool, but it's not fighting fucking Curtis Blades or fighting, you know, even Steve.
He did get a Mark Hunt win, but yeah.
Yeah, Mark Hunt win, though, is a Mark Hunt that's 5 years too deep.
Yep,
if this
way
was Mark
too deep.
Hunt in 2010, I'd go, holy shit, let's go ahead.
Yeah.
So I think Justin Willis is close. I think Justin Willis has several more fights.
He's
to
got
get
a
up to the
long way to
caliber.
go. He's
Yeah,
got a
because
long way to go.
that is an old gauntlet, but it is not a fun gauntlet because anytime someone lands
And
that
Curtis
level-
Blades is going to be there. He's not going anywhere. He's 27. He's like the young guy.
And he came back after an Ngannou knockout.
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? It's not like this guy hasn't been put through the ringer.
What do you think Curtis Blades gets after this?
You know, I don't know, man. I don't know if he should go and fight like a Stipe right now because Stipe's not getting the fights, but
That makes if Stipe
He
is
said
going to
he-
sign a fight, that one makes sense.
no, and the reason I say hesitantly because he wants Dos Santos because that's not a bigger profitable name. I think he knows that people like to watch Santos now back because he's getting hot again.
There's a lot of talk behind Santos,
You know
Dos
what
Santos, and Francis Ngannou.
Well,
I think that fight's going to get made, honestly.
it depends on timing
Because
and speed.
DC is not fighting anyone.
No,
He
He just turned 40.
But he's the champion. You got to fight people if you're the champion.
And you and me talked about this. You have to. You have to
That-
stay active.
Yeah, if you're not the champion and you're the big name and you want to wait
Twice
for
a year
fights,
minimum.
go for it, man. If you're the champion, you got to fight the next contender. And
My problem is when you have someone like Stipe, not enough Americans or outside the UFC get behind Stipe, which they should. He's a part-time firefighter. He held the longest contention heavyweight. There's something about him that people do not talk. Like, there's no one right now throwing up much as markability on Stipe. Let's get you a fight right now. Then you have other fighters. Santos is always online talking shit.
I don't think Stipe wants a fight. I think he wants a title fight.
I think he wants Cormier.
Yeah,
only. But why wouldn't he? He earned the time
Yeah.
for that. He earned the reason to do
It
that.
comes down to if Stipe is going to accept the fight. I think the Curtis Blades Stipe fight makes a lot of sense. They're both good wrestlers. They're both good strikers. I think it'd be a great fight. Whoever wins that, how do you deny him?
Yeah.
But it's going to depend on if Stipe even accepts a fight because I do think there's momentum behind Francis and Junior Dos Santos fighting.
Yep.
But Curtis Blades and Stipe to me makes a lot of sense. I don't know who else in that division you give Curtis Blades. Maybe the winner of Volkov and Overeem, if it's Volkov, but he just beat Overeem.
Well, that's the thing is he's already done damage to Overeem. Volkov probably should win against Overeem. He wins that. That makes sense. But
Yeah.
how long does that fight have to wait to happen?
Yeah, right. I mean, it depends on everything's moving slow in this division right now. There's not a whole lot
And it
of
kind of has to because the DC.
because DC
because of DC, because he's old and he's slow, and you know what?
he can
DC
beat the hell
can
out
do
of you.
that. He can do that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Main event, Showtime and Wonderboy, and
Give me flashbacks to last time we talked about this.
so Wonderboy was the biggest favorite on this card
Yes.
out of everyone, top to bottom.
Yes.
Showtime, Anthony Pettis, former lightweight champion, former UFC lightweight champion, former World Series of Fighting lightweight champion, was the biggest underdog on the card.
New weight division, obviously. So
yeah,
huge
it's
factor.
his first fight at
It's a huge
middleweight.
factor.
He's fought at featherweight before, fairly recently.
I told
even.
you, that's insane.
He comes into this as the biggest underdog on the card. It looks to me similar to the Till Masvidal fight. Like, actually, didn't he kick him in the nuts too?
Yes.
What?
Masvidal kicked him in the opening.
No, did Pettis? No, that didn't happen.
No.
Okay.
I thought, only Masvidal did that.
So for the first 2 rounds, it looked like Wonderboy had the better of him. Was landing the bigger shots, had the range figured out more, was imposing his will, and then all of a sudden, Pettis knocks him out. Bounces off the back of the cage, typical Pettis style. He's calling it a kick punch, not a Superman punch, but it looked like a Superman punch to me.
It had enough power to be whatever the fuck
it was a Superman hook.
It
Superman
hurt.
hook. And just flatlined him. And then he jumped on him twice more for good measure.
Pettis was getting fucked up.
He says that it looked worse than it did, which makes sense. I mean, when your nose bleeds, it looks bad. There's a lot of blood coming up. It's got to make it tougher to breathe.
No, but
so that is
since
something.
That Tony Ferguson fight, you show how Pettis can take damage, but the thing that you didn't want to see is Pettis take damage early. He took damage late to the Ferguson fight. If he would broke his nose in the first 2 minutes, that fight's completely fucking different. He didn't. Just like you said, and that goes to also show as Pettis came in saying, I don't care what weight class I'm fighting in, I'm going to still fight Anthony Pettis style. Yeah.
And it's fun as hell to watch.
Fuck.
So this was the first time Wonderboy's ever been knocked out in his however many 20, 30 MMA fights.
Plus always Taekwondo and then the
kickboxing. He's got like
kickboxing.
50 kickboxing fights. It's a total of like 70 or 80 professional fights. He's never been knocked out. And Anthony Pettis, the little lightweight, came up and did it.
Yeah.
And I thought, as opposed to the London card that we were talking about, which was a fantastic end to a fantastic card, this was an entertaining end to an unentertaining card.
Yeah.
But it was entertaining. This fight was great. And Anthony Pettis is back, and he's got options.
Ton.
He's calling out the winner of the Gaethje Barboza fight, which is going to be great.
I think
that's a fantastic matchup.
I think that's a great call. I think if they don't want to get as greedy because they think, hey, we don't want to shoot all our bullets in one shot, is maybe take the winner of the RDA Kevin Lee fight. Let that happen. Let's say, Kevin Lee, hey, you prove yourself at the new weight division, and guess what? We have a really fun opponent. Somebody else that did the same fucking thing. Vice versa. RDA says, hey, Kevin Lee, go back down, man. You can't hang up here. RDA's like, okay, who's next? Pettis goes, I knocked out Wonderboy. Let me try you.
Well, RDA took his lightweight title.
Exactly.
He wants that fight back.
This is a redemption fight.
Yeah.
So I think, in my mind, let's say hypothetical, because obviously we've been right, because every fucking podcast we've done, we've got every fight right? So I think in my world is RDA does starch Kevin Lee, or at least beats him by decision. Basically to say, hey, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah, I think
right
RDA
now.
beats Kevin Lee.
Perfect timing right there for RDA to go ahead and fight Pettis. It's just it's so fucking marketable.
I think Pettis is going to wait. I think he's got 3 great fights.
What's he in a hurry for?
RDA getting that fight back. The winner of Barboza and Gaethje is everyone wants to see that in Masvidal if he stays at welterweight, because he can definitely stay at welterweight. He said he weighed
right
less walking into the cage in this fight than he did against Tony Ferguson,
and that's scary.
So I mean, he can fight at lightweight. He can fight at welterweight. It's not going to be an issue. So yeah, he just needs to sit back and wait, and he'll be able to pick an opponent. And I heard an interview with him, and he doesn't want to fight boring fights. If he thinks he doesn't want, actually, he trains with Ben Askren. He's come out and said that is the one welterweight he would not fight.
No, he knows.
He wants no part of that.
I want no part of that. I see what happens at my camp.
Yeah.
This guy's puking blood.
He said, I trained. He was my training partner for this guy or that guy, and I'm good. I'll save myself the embarrassment. Give me any other welterweight. I'm not afraid.
When you have a $500 Showtime tattoo on your back and your name is Showtime, and you do Showtime things like this weekend, and let alone have a highlight tape that wasn't even the UFC, Pettis knows exactly what lane to drive.
That's what he said. He just wants a fun fight for him.
I want the
This
fans
Thompson
to
fight was
love
fun
me.
for him. It's going to be a fun puzzle to figure out with Wonderboy. Crazy weird ankles with Barboza or Gaethje, and then that fight back with RDA. I think that we have not seen the last of Anthony Pettis. Maybe not championship Anthony Pettis, but he is still top 10 wherever he is.
He'll teeter back and forth. And the thing about it is Pettis has everything to gain right now because he won in another division he hasn't fought in. He's fought at featherweight. He's a 3-time fight divisioner. You don't get rid of a guy that diversified because all of a sudden, let's say someone calls up and like, hey, Conor says he wants to fight you, and this is 2 years from now. Yeah, I'm going to go lightweight.
Yeah.
You know, so Pettis has everything to just continue to play in his field. So I think awesome win, awesome knockout, Wonderboy class act. Even in the hospital, he goes, I don't even remember touching gloves. Like, fucker got clean. But he even looked up at Pettis. He was like, you did that?
Yeah,
That's
man.
awesome.
He was, yeah.
But, like, you know, he was excited. He's like, you just knocked me out?
Man,
That's
I didn't even
cool.
know how that
I
happened.
didn't know I was out.
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
that's the cool thing. Now, here's a Dave Tanner question to you. Who's Wonderboy fight next after something like that? Because Wonderboy had been off for a tick since the Darren Till loss till, you know, that was in 18, but that was in April.
Yeah.
It was basically
Almost a year ago.
So that's a long time fight. One, do you think he fights soon? Because his first knockout ever, so that might scare him to take some time off.
There's a fight night coming up in Carolina.
Yeah.
It's close to home. He wanted to be on it. And I think this knockout has changed his mind.
That hurt that.
I think that he is going to take time off and not rush back. I don't know where. Man.
But the thing that
goes.
it scares me is he's 35 years old. So taking another year off, he's 36. He's still in very good prime. He takes one shitty fight, loses. Takes another year off, he's 38. Next thing you know, at 39 on his birthday, he retires. Like this guy.
To me, Robbie Lawler's the fight.
I had that.
I know Wonderboy in the past has talked about how he wants to fight Robbie Lawler. It's just never been able to happen. The thing is the timing going to work out? If Robbie wants to get back into the cage right now, if he's itching to get that taste out of his mouth,
he's
right?
Not done any damage.
Right.
In that aspect
He's fine. He's ready to go. Wonderboy's going to want to wait for a bit, but I would love to see that fight. I think that's a fantastic fight to make. And I think Wonderboy I know wants it. I don't know if Robbie feels the same.
That's probably the most entertaining matchup because it's two guys that have wanted to fight, two classy guys, two very talented guys. If it was timing wise and this was not Thompson and he takes years off, I'd have him fight fucking Askren next.
Yeah,
I'd have him
I want anyone to fight Ben Askren.
I know, and I agree, and I think you have somebody like him that's like, I'm coming off a loss. Because in my mind, man, I don't take the Tyron Woodley loss or the draw as something bad in his career.
The draw was not the loss was not good. The loss was not good.
No, but the thing
the draw
is,
was a fun fight. That was good. That was impressive.
On decision. That was a tough fucking
fight. That was a close fight.
He could have been out.
And he could have won.
Yeah. This Pettis, different ball game, but that does not mean that you.
No, that was a good. I mean, he was winning the fight.
You do not tell Stephen Thompson go back down to 8. Like.
No, I could see him 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's my point. Is if timing works,
9. I could see him behind Robbie Lawler. I mean,
well, here's my thing.
The top 10 is just crazy in the welterweight division.
Askren wants to fight tomorrow. Stephen Thompson, especially after being
he's not going to fight soon.
Ever, he's not going to want to fight soon. So then you have to think, well, Stephen, by the time that you're going to be able to fight, and maybe somebody else hasn't got to fight, do you want to go and fight Ponzinibbio, or is somebody going to get Ponzinibbio in the time being?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Ponzinibbio needs to get a fight before then, I think.
But that's my problem is Ponzinibbio right now is a hot coal ready to burn. Okay, he fought in November. That's not that long ago, but guess what? When we get to May and we're just now announcing his fight for July, that's not good because that's a guy that's been ready and he hasn't fought in almost 12 months.
I really think there isn't a next opponent for Thompson. I think he just steps away for a bit and then comes back when the time's right. Yeah.
I mean, with the fucking 7-fight winning streak, why is no one talking about this?
Ponzinibbio?
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. He needs.
And they're all in the UFC.
Yeah.
Every single
he
fight.
He needs to fight Leon Edwards or Robbie Lawler or someone.
I mean, I get it. Some of the guys in the beginning, but that Gunnar Nelson, eye poke or not, he laid him the fuck out.
He doesn't have any top 10 wins. He needs to get a top 10 opponent and see what he's actually
really
made of.
A Neil Magny knockout to make Neil Nagley go limp?
Yeah,
that's fucking ginormous. Because Neil Magny,
you can only beat the people you're fighting.
Neil Magny is never a guy that's probably going to win the title, but he is definitely a guy that gives you a motherfucking hard time.
So that's Fight Night 148.
Like you said, I will agree with you. Not the greatest card, but it ended terrific.
Yeah,
so that
it was a great main event. Yeah, great main event.
That probably saved it.
We talked a little bit earlier about TJ Dillashaw getting popped by USADA. Yeah. And that is good timing for our discussion on the bantamweight division. This really changes everything. Right now, TJ Dillashaw, right now the championship is vacant. The unfortunate thing is the proper title contenders for that vacant spot are Rafael Assunção and Marlon Moraes, and they just fought.
Yeah.
If this news would have come out like right afterwards,
a little different.
That fight would have been the championship fight for the vacant title.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that fight already happened. So Marlon Moraes won, and there's no other clear contender for this this vacant title. It looks like they're going to put Henry Cejudo in this fight.
That's what I saw you saying. You know, the thing is, it makes all sense. I mean, Marlon Moraes has done nothing wrong in his division. He's done everything right. He deserves to get to that point. Cejudo has to realize for his overall gain, I'm very well surrounded by people that are supporting me. I did something to DJ and then DJ left, so now I'm the next guy that says, all right, DJ's not my problem anymore, everyone below me. Okay, cool. Take advantage of the opportunities to get in there and make nasty decisions and have a huge high risk with reward, because right now he can defend two fucking different separate divisions. Go up to Bantam, decide to do something nasty, win.
You already beat their champion.
Who
may have been on roids.
And by the way, I'm going to sit back, guys, in the summertime, maybe get cut down at 125 and around about November. Does somebody want to go old school flyweight before this division's caked? And by the way, if I win, I might save our division. Henry Cejudo right now has the wand. He can make what he wants happen. The problem is he going to have enough fucking time? Honestly.
Yeah,
But I agree. I'm sorry to go back to what you said though. Moraes Cejudo makes 100% because both the guys have earned it. They both beat, or I'm not sorry, not both beat. You had obviously Cejudo beat TJ. You obviously have to let Moraes. There's nobody that's touched him.
Yeah, I mean Moraes is the shoe-in, and it's hard for me to hate on Cejudo being in the fight because he did just beat the champion. Like I said, I wish that the news would have broke earlier, and you'd be able to have Moraes in that Assunção fight be for the title. That makes sense. Since that didn't happen, I guess it makes sense for it to be Cejudo. The other options are Aljamain Sterling, Pedro Munhoz. I mean,
and they're right there. I mean,
they're right there, but I think it makes more sense for them to have a number one contender fight than to be in the title fight.
I would just hate to see one of those guys go into a fight and just get absolutely annihilated and be obvious that they're not ready for that caliber yet, and then it hurts that division even more because flyweight division's hurting. The next division you do not allow to look vulnerable is the bantamweight. So pick your best fights, and what have we talked before? If Dominic Cruz was in this division right now, this is a completely different conversation. This is a completely different scenario. And this is people that are about to make moves that changes that belt out 2 to 3 times a year depending on how many items they can get in.
Yeah, actually when I first heard the news, I was kind of excited because I was like, oh, this means that Cejudo is going to have to go back down and defend his belt, and that the people in the bantamweight division aren't going to have to wait for TJ and Cejudo to fight before they can get to their belt. And then it ended up just being the same story with different faces. It looks like it's going to be Cejudo and Moraes. But
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, hopefully they send Cejudo back down. I guess I'm hoping that Moraes wins this. Cejudo goes back to 125 and defends that belt.
Yeah.
And Moraes, who I think was going to be the champion of TJ Dillashaw, had been holding the title, gets his shot at the title now. So instead of him having to wait, he gets it right now, which is good for him. He definitely deserves
has
it.
to do everything to make that division look good, and then deal with Bantam later.
Yeah.
Make that flyweight. You want to talk about keeping the flyweight around? You have to do things that makes the flyweight division look good.
It made sense at first when TJ had already come down, but at this point,
it's a big monkey wrench.
Mm-hmm. Other than that, really the only big upcoming fight in the bantamweight division is Alex Perez moving up,
which I think is a great choice. Honestly, for him, not only because the division is 50-50, also because he can bang out with the guys in Bantam.
Yeah, I think really it's going to work out for him. He's fighting Mark De La Rosa this coming weekend, actually.
Jeez.
He is the favorite in that fight, a minus 300 favorite. But I think that it'll be interesting to watch him. And also, Said Nurmagomedov is moving up from flyweight to bantamweight. He's an maybe a one-loss fighter, but he's on a long win streak. Yeah. He did well in the flyweight division, and I believe he's moving up to the bantamweight division. I think that if you had any thoughts about moving up to bantamweight division, you probably ought to do it before you get cut right now.
You better do it and get your line in place.
I mean, if you're not in the top 5 fighting for a title, then I don't know.
You've seen too many guys. Smoka had that situation. Unfortunately, he lost. We talked about that last or actually the first podcast ever. My thing right now is you have guys that I won't get back to Marlon Vera, but I think Marlon Vera right now could go and fight his original fight right now. Tohemius Almeida, Thomas Almeida. He was scheduled to fight Thomas Almeida. It did not happen. You got Thomas Almeida against Marlon Vera. Are you kidding me? That is the fight that I'll watch 10 times in a row. That happens. Marlon Vera comes in, jumps in the top 10 maybe, because John Jobson just lost. And then Thomas Almeida, unfortunately, is not heard of for 2 more fights. But that's what's happening in the Bantam on the low end right now. His stuff is trading, it's moving, and it's awesome. But the problem is, who's available?
Yeah.
Because right now with this TJ stuff, that top could change like that. And all of a sudden the bottom goes, well, I'm really 15, but I could be a 9 tomorrow because of what just happened up top.
Yeah, I'd love to see the guys at the top right now go at it. I mean, we have Aljamain Sterling and Pedro Munoz both coming off big wins, looking to get a title shot. I think that's a great shot, a great fight for a number 1 contender. Pedro just knocked out Cody. Yeah. Aljamain Sterling is coming off 3 wins in a row. He just beat Jimmy Rivera. His last loss was to Marlon Moraes.
Yep.
So I think that is the fight to make outside of the title fight.
You know someone they've not talked about in this division a lot that's very high ranked and has had some entertaining fights? John Lineker.
He's fighting soon.
No, I know he's fighting but God, I'd be getting his name out there because I'm telling you right now, John, if he wins this next fight, you got Cody coming off a loss. You got fucking Dominic, who's just paralyzed. Aljamain and Pedro are probably going to fight. He might be fighting Rafael.
Yeah.
With a win like that, because right now you got Marlon Moraes that might move over to lightweight or move back. Or I'm sorry, you're going to have Marlon Moraes fight the 135, so he may not fight anybody else the rest of the year if he ends up fighting Cejudo. You know what I'm saying? So let's say
he might take off the rest of the year.
He loses. That sucks because he's got to make a movement, and then guess what? Somebody else is closer in line. So I mean.
Yeah, it's
that's the top of this division is fun. That's a quick ladder.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that haven't fought each other yet. There are definitely some top guys that have fought each other.
Yeah.
Like Rafael Sunsao has fought everyone.
He's been around a while.
Yeah. So
that's what's awesome.
Yeah, but I think maybe a Rafael Sunsao and Aljamain Sterling fight, a rematch there.
Nice. That would be very nice.
And then I honestly wouldn't mind seeing Rafael if Rafael Sunsao wins like that kind of a fight. Having him fight Marlon Moraes again. I know they just fought.
Back. Well, no, but it's a redemption.
Yeah, but they're 1-1.
Exactly.
Yeah, they deserve he deserves a trilogy fight.
And that's what's cool about this division. There's guys that are not fucking 22 years old fighting in this division. You got guys that are veterans that are 31, and they're going in and making stop. Yeah, I mean, Rafael's 36.
Yeah.
This is great to see in this division.
Any other fights you're looking at making? We talked about maybe Peter Yan and Nathaniel Wood. I think that'd be fun to watch.
That's one that I'd like to see for sure. In a perfect world, I would love to see a Dominic Cruz-Cody again. Dominic Cruz comes off an injury.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to see Dominic Cruz fight again. I guess that's
so
right.
In general, Dominic Cruz fights.
Yeah.
But Cody's coming off 3 losses, 2 to a champion fight. This last one, him getting greedy. Let's say Cody fights Dom 2. And then guess what? Maybe Cody doesn't gain
I'd like to see both of them fight before that. I want to see that fight again, but
it's timing, though, because Dom might not be healthy till the fall.
Is he hurt again?
He's all fucked up. That's
then why
the
even
reason he's out. That's what I'm saying. Is Cody
still?
Yes. He's not booked any fights.
No, yeah, I know he's not booked any fights. He's waiting for a title fight.
Well,
they haven't offered it to him yet.
That's not gonna happen, bud. So much shit's gonna happen. But Cody, let's say Cody wants to fight this year. Maybe fight him in I don't know, June. Have him fight Dom, but is Dom ready? That's the biggest deal. Are people ready to go right then?
Yeah, I those are the 2 fighters I want to watch this year. See if Dominic Cruz comes back. That's been my same answer for the last 3 years. That's what I've wanted to watch.
Yeah.
To see if Dominic Cruz comes back.
Yeah, it's
and
tough.
then what does Cody do after 3 consecutive knockouts? I mean, this is a crossroads, man.
He fights for his job or he's Henry Morale.
Yeah,
he's either Henry Morale right now. 4 losses in a row in the Bantam. When you were champion,
when you get knocked out, when you get knocked out again, man, like your head can't take it.
You're not the right.
Yeah, your chin's not there. It's not there if you get knocked out one more time.
What did TJ always said? I never thought Cody had a chin to begin with because he watched Cody in one of his amateur fights get knocked cold the fuck out. He knew he was not ready for this speed. Problem is, Cody faked it and made it so long
until he
no one thought about it, and he made it, and it's like, sweet. Problem is, there's other people that know how to fake and make it and also make out what you're doing. And I think, just like you said, can fucking Cody take out basically 3 knockout losses in a row after being the champion, lost people from his camp, and say, yeah, I'm going to come into the next fight as hungry as I was when I was champion. He made Dominic Cruz look like he didn't know what the hell was going on.
He outclassed Dominic Cruz, which is hard to do.
And now Cody's in a contention to say Cody might be out of the top 15 by the end of the year. You fucking kidding me? That's scary, dude. That's what this division's doing right now. It is moving like a freight train.
And then Marlon Vera. That's the other guy you're watching?
Oh, my God. Marlon Vera right now, if he stays on par with what's happening in this division, the movement, how fast, I'm saying by the end of 2021, not 2020, end of 2021, he has a belt at some point.
Who do you think's got the belt in 2020?
I think Morales has it.
Moraes?
Yeah, Moraes. Yeah, I think Moraes keeps it. He's too sound. He's too powerful. He's too hungry right now. He's just going to go in there with no reckless abandon problems. Right in, says this is a different level.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's the best. I think he beats Cejudo.
Which is
I don't know if
sport.
he fights again this year. Maybe he does. I think he wins whoever they put in front of him. What about when TJ comes back? You think he beats TJ?
Depends on what TJ we see. Do we see a TJ that is not on some type of steroid? Do we see a TJ that did not train as hard? Do we see a TJ that trained too much? Do we see a TJ that's getting finally father timed? That's over a year till we get to see a TJ Dillashaw fight anybody. So, love to see. I
don't think he'll lose too much. I expect TJ Dillashaw to come back and be TJ Dillashaw.
How quick does somebody book a fight with him on this USADA? He got busted in February. It's a year.
It's a year from the day. Yeah, it's like January 20 or like 19 or 29 or something like that. It's towards the end of January. So yeah, it'd be February, March card. Yeah, February, March card at the earliest.
Of 2020. That's a very long time in his world. He is not 27 years old. So I worry about steroids or not, whatever. Take all that away. anybody doesn't fight that long. Jorge Masvidal proved me wrong on that, but how many other people can roll that dice?
Dominic Cruz.
Dominic Cruz also.
George St. Pierre.
Yeah, but the thing is, how many times very regular does that happen? Not very often.
Yeah, but I think it's not a given. I think that you can avoid ring rust.
No, you can because Masvidal just proved that.
Yeah.
My thing with TJ is he going to be able to come back and feel like he's in that same groove that he was when he was fighting for everybody? Cody fighting for Cejudo, fighting again for Cody. He wants to be on top and be the dominant. Being off this long could fuck with his head.
Yeah.
So, that's all I got on that.
Yeah, plus the stigma that comes with it. I mean, that's going to fuck with your head just as much.
Sticker.
I mean,
it's a big sticker on your head, man.
When people call you cheaters for the rest of your, how do you deal with that mentally? That's a big
tough.
deal. Yeah, it is. So, upcoming this weekend, we got Fight Night 149, headlined by Edson Barboza and Justin Gaethje. So we're going to run through some of those matchups, take a look at the Vegas odds, tell you what we think about the bets, and then maybe make some predictions.
To this fight.
The first one we're looking at is that Alex Perez fight we talked about a little bit earlier.
Yes.
He's fighting Mark De La Rosa. Alex Perez is a minus 300 favorite.
Yep.
I think Alex Perez is he's my pick here, for sure.
It's too much experience. You got to remember, this is a debut by Rosa. I just
Is it?
Yes. I do not believe the no, I'm sorry. He's got one fight in there, but not against anyone ranked. This is debut with a ranked fighter. I think you got a guy, Rosa, who's very jiu-jitsu heavy, all that. I think Perez comes in and takes his head off.
Really?
Honestly.
Coming up from flyweight.
He's going to have more energy. He's going to have more weight on him. He's going to have more power, obviously. Maybe he comes up there and starches somebody like him really quick.
Ray Borg maybe finally found an opponent. So,
gosh, he's been out.
His original opponent was replaced
long.
by Kyler Phillips a couple weeks ago. And then Kyler Phillips just got replaced today or yesterday by Casey Kenny. Casey Kenny just fought last weekend.
That's a big factor to me. One, that they would allow that, and two, does no one realize this guy just went through an
Is there no
fight?
one else?
Is there no one else? Are you not entertained?
Yeah, I mean, he won by first round knockout. He just became the LFA 2 division champion, but it was Friday, and now he's signed up to fight this Saturday against Ray Borg.
I mean, props to him for taking that, but to Ray Borg right now, he's got a turkey that's already overdone. Like, this is so easy to just pick apart.
Yeah, I think, I don't know why they wanted. Usually, if this happens, they just scrap the fight. If you've already found a replacement opponent, and now you need to find one a couple days out.
This right now.
This is crazy. But Ray Borg hasn't fought since that Conor McGregor bus incident,
and that's very scary.
I know he wants to check. His kid's got crazy medical bills.
His poor little boy.
Yeah, I think that they just want to be able to give him a fight. So I think that's the stress of getting this fight made. They made it. It's going to be Casey Kenny's Octagon debut.
Wow.
And guess what? He's ranked 15th in the flyweight division.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
because there's no one else in the flyweight division.
Very interesting.
So yeah,
props to them keeping that.
It's good that they kept it for Ray Borg at least, and then it gives Casey Kenny a chance too. So we'll see how it goes. I think Ray Borg wins. He's also, I'm assuming, going to be a big favorite. There's no odds at this point. In the featherweight division, we got Josh Emmett and Michael Johnson, and to me, this is a pick'em.
This is me, buddy. This is my pick.
Yeah.
This is my bet. So my bet that we have now, we have Vegas odds involved between me and Don because we needed to make this a little more interesting. So in this fight, Josh Emmett is actually a minus 110. Michael Johnson, who just joined the featherweight division, is minus 120. I thought in Vegas money for somebody like Michael Johnson, who is an entertaining, explosive fighter, hey, he could have finished Gaethje. Gaethje was durable as shit. He could have finished still Gaethje and been in a different conversation. I don't think this is a fight that just makes, Michael Johnson look like somebody crazy, but I think this makes Michael Johnson known. I'm still in the division. I'm still ready to fight and make me ranked. Josh Emmett, knocked the fuck out of Ricardo Lamas. We all know that was a nasty knockout. Then he lost to Jeremy Stevens. Now he's got a situation.
Got beat up, but good by Jeremy Stevens.
Very much got clipped up a lot, beat up a lot. But here's the deal about Michael Johnson. Those are Michael Johnson fights, aggressive inside. Michael's looked good lately with the cut, a lot of punches, a lot of elbows inside. I think this is a fight that Michael Johnson has the aggressiveness because I don't know if Josh Emmett can take someone again, like someone like a Jeremy Stevens. It's like, I'm in your face, I'm dropping bombs, and by the way, you're not getting up.
So Michael Johnson, to me, I'm taking Josh Emmett in this fight.
Oh wow!
This is not my pick, but
Okay.
my prediction is that Josh Emmett wins this fight. I have 3 very distinct memories of Michael Johnson. 2 of them are bad, and one of them is good, but not good at fighting.
Okay.
We'll start with the good one. When John Jones is explaining to Daniel Cormier that the last time he beat him, he was on cocaine all weekend.
Yeah.
He said, I beat you on cocaine, and you see Michael Johnson in the back row of that press conference losing his shit laughing. That's one of them. The other 2, he was getting his ass kicked. Once by Khabib just saying, just stop, man. Khabib's ground and pounding him into oblivion. Feels bad for the guy. Just saying, just quit, man. Just
don't
stop.
Do this. It's over.
Brutal. And the last one is his last fight with Nate Diaz. And Nate Diaz is just slapping from far away, pointing at him, laughing. Yes, and just slapping him again. And to me, Michael Johnson is the butt of the joke.
Yeah. Michael Johnson has done huge things in that sport and had fun fights, but there's been some fights that he's looked bad. That Darren Elkins loss, didn't need that. A guy that takes so much damage that he just wears you out until he chokes you out, that's a problem in that division. You should never get wore down in that division, and Darren Elkins basically just took 106 punches to the face, waited toward Michael Johnson was tired, put him in, submitted him, done. So I think Michael's got a lot behind this. That's why I bet on this. It's not the greatest odds for me, but I think
he's a favored.
But I think in my world I'm looking at Michael is coming in. He's got a lot to fucking lose, so he better make sure he does everything to win. I'm telling you that right now.
In the women's strawweight division, we got Karolina Kowalkiewicz and the karate hottie Michelle Waterson. Michelle Waterson coming in at the underdog as the number 8 contender. Karolina is the number 6 contender. You picked Michelle Waterson. You think the karate hottie is gonna pull this off with a submission?
Yeah. It's all the advertisement they've been giving her lately.
Yeah,
She's got that E60. They got her talking all about how she's been getting in shape. She's dedicated to get back into where she's only dedicated to this weight class. She's so good on the ground. She's so patient. Even though Paige choked her out back in the day, when Rose choked her out back in the day, I think she's still at that caliber. The thing is, Waterson needs a big win now to be able to stay and float up at the top for a while because she could fluctuate a lot here, especially with her ranking. I mean, she could drop 5-6 spots quick. I think she gets a win over Carolina took a monster fucking bomb from Andrade. Like, absolutely out cold. That doesn't happen often, plus it's never happened to her.
Yeah.
Let her recoup. Let her get a win. So she gets that, win over Michelle Waterson. Okay, perfect. You're right back into fighting somebody top 6.
Yeah.
Besides that, Michelle could absolutely be a name that's top 5 next week. Yeah,
if she wins, she will be. There's definitely going to be a push behind her. People love her. They like to promote her.
Very happy
she's fun.
person.
Yeah, she's a fun personality. So I'll be rooting for her. I'm not sure that she's going to win it. This new weight class hopefully works out for her.
Yeah, it might be the best fit for her. We can find out here on this.
And then at middleweight, we got David Branch and Jack Hermanson. David Branch is an even money underdog. Jack Hermanson minus 130 favorite.
It's a very clean, safe bet too.
David Branch is going to be my pick.
Yeah,
I think at even money, David Branch is very veteran, incredibly experienced. He's had big fights under his belt, and I think that he's going to win here. I see him winning by knockout.
Yep. I agree why you're selecting David Branch, but a lot of people in an entire ESPN commercials probably cost $10 million. Film fucking David Branch's life story growing up in this rough life, trying to get a black belt. And Luke Rockhold made him look like a fucking idiot. So I don't
Did
have
he?
a lot of...
He-
Absolutely.
David Branch put him on his ass, man.
Yeah, and he also ended up getting ground and pound over the back by Luke Rockhold.
He did.
So...
If it stays on its feet, I like David Branch.
I do too, but
Yeah.
also it doesn't mean Jack's not going to take it to the ground.
Mhm.
I think Jack takes it to the ground, and I think he fucks David Branch up on the ground. Short elbows, maybe a guillotine, might even be a reverse triangle. I don't know, but I do not think David Branch is going to win this. But I think the bet on David Branch, if he does win, is phenomenal.
And the main event of the night is Edson Barboza and Justin Gaethje. This is
Oh.
going to be a fun one, man. Edson Barboza is the favorite right now. Justin Gaethje, a plus 110 underdog. We got number 6 and number 7 in the lightweight division, and both of these guys just strike.
Yes.
Striking all angles.
Every bone, every
Yeah.
muscle in your body, they're striking with.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. I don't think it's going to last long. I'd be surprised if it gets out of 3 rounds.
Yeah.
But I guess I predict Barboza to win. I think that, and
It's
he
the
said it himself.
unpredictable.
There's more. I see more ways where he can win than with Justin Gaethje. I wouldn't be surprised with either of them winning.
No.
It can happen at any time.
No one's going to say that wasn't deserving.
Yeah.
Yeah. These guys are brawlers.
So yeah, that's going to be a great fight.
Yeah.
You have Edson Barboza as well.
Yeah, the thing about Edson is I've been watching him lately, how he's getting back to that hunger, getting back to that really hard play, leg kick, beat you down, get on top of you. That could be a fight we talked earlier. That was a big difference in his career. But he bounced back from that. He is still absolutely a threat in that division. And honestly, this Gaethje fight, one, could push Gaethje closer to retiring. Because Gaethje's like, I might have 5-6 fights left in me, and he said that 3 fights ago. 2, Gaethje beats him. Jesus. When's the next fight for him? Bring Pettis back down.
Yeah.
Let's fucking bring Pettis in with Gaethje.
That's a great fight.
I mean, you have so many options with Gaethje, and also it's so marketable because everybody's saying, dude, Gaethje's not going to be
Gaethje,
an 8.
Tony Ferguson.
He's not going to be 8, a 9, a 10 more year fighter. He might fight 5 more times since you and me do this podcast in our entire career. Seriously, in 2 years he can fight 5 times and we never talk about him again except how great of the fights he had. Make the best fight for him right now. Yeah. But everybody
fun
on
fights
that,
like this.
everybody on that fucking card absolutely is going to be a blast. I hope there's no snoozers because all of them just different realms. Like Ray Borg is getting a fight to pay his mortgage. Fucking Edson Barboza is trying to beat Justin Gaethje so he can be considered serious.
Yeah, that main event's a big one.
It's fucking
That's
huge.
a big one for the lightweight division. Yeah. So we'll be back in a couple weeks to let you know how dumb our bets were. We're going to preview UFC 436 with my boy Max Holloway. So we'll be taking a look at that one.
Yeah, that'll be
next
fun
time.
to talk about. See you, brother.
Cheers.